What is up, hooligans? And happy freedom. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Hooligans, where we try to make the news suck a little less. Now, I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you're over on Rumble, please hit that like button. More likes equals more hooligans. We are waiting for President Trump to step on stage. He's about to go live any minute now. He was technically supposed to be live 42 minutes ago, but don't leave it to me to bitch about being late, because I'm late all the damn time. This live is titled President Trump Delivers Investing in America Remarks. Like I said, any moment now, he'll be on stage. But until then, we're going to read through the schedule, and then we'll check on all the chats. See how you hooligans are doing today. What day is it? Is it Monday? It's probably not Monday. No, it's Wednesday. I was close. Anyways, we'll be starting off with a video titled, after the live of course, People Will Die If USDA Doesn't Limit Salmonella in Poultry. Apparently President Trump is rolling back some policy or something, and well, they're going to tell you how scared they are that everyone's going to die from salmonella poisoning. So, let's start off with some propaganda. Then we got a video from earlier today titled, I Would Never Tell Rubio on if Kilmar Abrego Garcia's return has been requested. This is the poor father from Maryland that's actually a woman beating a legal MS-13 gang member, but they got to keep him in the news. He's the left's martyr. Then we got an interesting video titled High School Lacrosse Players Could Face Kidnapping Charges in Hazing Incident. They're saying there's 11 high schoolers involved and 5 players that were victimized. They kidnapped one of the students. Apparently they were also threatening them while using a pistol and a knife. I don't know. We didn't really do that stuff when I was in high school. Then we got a video. It's something. It's a different form of propaganda. This is Canadian Conspiracies. This is titled, Some Canadians Think That Trump Has Affected Their Election in Order to Break Canada, so Trump could then absorb Canada as the 51st state for cheap. And this is one of the examples that's being used. I can't believe it, but that's what's going around. Then we got a lot of news, by the way. We got a video titled AOC Confronted on Possible 2028 Presidential Bid, saying it's a video. She's being questioned on the video that she released. We covered. It's very official, and she's trying to speak like she's preaching and whatnot. Then we have a Kid Rock video titled Kid Rock Calls Trump Hating Mainstream Media Public Enemy #1. They're going to be talking about Kid Rock's summary on what he thinks on Trump's first 100 days. Even though I wrote 1,000 days, that's okay. He'll also be calling out the mainstream media for lying and twisting Trump's agenda. Then we got a video titled Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney to visit the White House soon, says President Trump. Then we got a video that I'm not exactly sure about. It's titled Robert De Niro's daughter Erin details coming out as a trans woman. Is Robert De Niro's offspring a boy or is it a girl? I can't fucking tell. It's supposedly trans, so I don't know if it was a boy that became a girl or what it was. Robert De Niro's got fucking problems. That's basically what we're saying here. Then we got a video titled Ranch of Horror was cartel operation and training site, says Mexico AG. This compound that the cartel was using as a training center, They promise they're going to do something about it. I don't really trust Mexico. I feel like if they were going to do something about the cartel, they wouldn't have the problems they got. But, that's just my opinion. Then we got a video from earlier today. It's titled Jack Posobiec asks Caroline Leavitt what the Trump admin is doing to combat the rise in violence from the far, far left. We'll see how that goes. We know that those lefties are getting rowdy. Then we got a video titled Trump Makes Governor Whitmer Speak Before Yesterday's Rally. I didn't realize that happened. We were waiting for the rally. I didn't know they had a little presser before that and got Whitmer to come out there. She admits that she was not intending on speaking. She didn't cover her face with a folder this time, though. Then we got a video titled... Let me see. We got 3 videos from the interview yesterday that President Trump did with ABC. First one's titled President Trump Explains Why He Revoked Joe Biden's security clearance. Then the second video is titled Trump saying he had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed. That's an interesting video. The left is using that to say that President Trump doesn't know what he's doing or his mind is slipping and this, that, and the other. I don't really know. I don't know if President Trump was either ill-informed or what exactly happened, but it kind of sounds like President Trump was under the impression that Garcia's hand literally spells out MS-13. It doesn't, but I don't know if he thought that or if he was just describing it that way because people have said that the tattoos on his knuckles represent MS-13. But either way, there's a little back and forth during the interview. Lefties are using it to say that President Trump's a mean orange man. Then the third video is titled, Trump tells ABC to their face that they're fake news and the worst. That's, we're just playing that because that's for fun. Then we got a video with Senator John Kennedy, because he is hilarious. This is titled, Game Room in the Mental Hospital. Senator Kennedy fillets Dems on their state of their party. Obviously, Senator Kennedy describing how terrible the left is. Then we got a video titled, Wisconsin Supreme Court suspends judge accused of helping border crosser evade ICE. This is obviously a follow-up video. It's kind of weird in the video, though, because they say that she is indefinitely suspended, and then like 5 seconds later, they turn around and say that her suspension is temporary. So I don't know if it's one way or the other, but they're contradicting themselves right in the video. Then we got an old video that's kind of relevant. It's 6 years old, but it's titled, Candidate for Governor Shri Tandar, however you say his name, has allegations of animal abuse, and he claims that it's used as a smear campaign. So that's the guy who how do I say it nicely? It's the guy that was asking for impeachment yesterday that we covered. I don't have a nice way of saying it. I just don't. But you know who it is. As soon as he gets on the screen, you're going to be like, oh, that fucking guy. Yeah, apparently he's accused of animal abuse. He was running a laboratory, kind of like what Fauci was doing. Then we got a video titled, Columbia student released from jail after judge's orders. This is a pro-Hamas activist that was working with Mahmoud Khalil. As far as I know, Mahmoud Khalil is still locked up, but his buddy got picked up last week, and a judge ordered him to be released, and he is out of jail and talking shit. Then the last little bit of the news is titled, Lefties Losing It. Joy Reid is historically illiterate, which is good. Nothing new really, but it's the lefties losing it. Then we'll be getting into our fun stuff of the day. We'll be starting off by opening today's door of the advent calendar that was sent to us by Hair Juicer. And then we got two funny videos of the day. First one's titled Smooth Operator, and our official funny video of the day is titled For the Failures. All of that's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see how you hooligans are doing today. What is up, everyone over on jeffmaclive.com. What's up, Astro Hammer? What's up, Russell? What's up, Snooks? What's up, Jay Spray? What's up, Damsel? What's up, Guess Some Jay? Happy freedom, you hooligans. Appreciate all of you guys being on the website. And what is up, everyone over on Rumble? Bobby, you were first today. I appreciate you racing to the chat, Bobby. What's up, Tony Rez? Happy freedom. What's up, Rappy? What's up, Stoner? What's up, MU? Appreciate you hooligans being here. Let me see. What's up, Elisa? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Gron? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Elder Zoomer? Appreciate you being here. What's up, Sly Dog? Happy freedom. What's up, Kevin? What's up, Neighbor Guy? Happy freedom to you. Let me see. Scrolling through. What's up, Too Old to Care? Happy freedom. What's up, Hidu? Appreciate you being with us. What's up, Appeal to Heaven? Happy freedom to you. I think we got everybody. What's up, Pumpkin? Happy freedom. Oh, I'm late. You're not late. We're just getting started. Either way, hit that like button over on Rumble. See if you can get us on the front page. And what is up, everyone over on Kick? Neighbor Guy, you are omnipresent. I appreciate you. What's up, Viola? Happy freedom to you. And what is up, everyone over on Twitch? Neighbor Guy, you are truly omnipresent. What's up, Kirk Allen? Happy freedom. And what is up, everyone over on the communism platform? What's up, Bob Marley? Happy freedom. Neighbor Guy, you truly are omnipresent. What's up, Rhonda? What is your name? Feel free. Happy freedom to you. What's up, Agent O? Russell, you are omnipresent. Appreciate you, hooligans. And what is up, everyone over on X? If I can get this pulled up. There we go. Do the thing. Neighbor Guy, you really are omnipresent. I appreciate you. All right, hooligans. Well, we are sitting here waiting on President Trump. I assume it'll be any minute now. The house is packed. Is that Pam Bondi? Oh, yeah, we got Pam Bondi there. We'll scam Bondi. President Trump's supposed to be on stage 51 minutes ago, so like I said, I don't think it'll be too much longer. We'll just sit here and read through the chat. If it does take forever, we'll just go ahead and play the first video, but we'll give him a chance to step out on stage. What's up, Sam? Happy freedom to you. Russell, do not open Hair's back door. Yeah, that's the only door we're not going to open, Russell. We're just going to let that be. What's up, Jay Spray? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Debo? Happy freedom. Sly Dog, gotta restart the browser. I wonder if we're still having problems over on the Rumble player. I don't know what the deal is with that. And I don't think Rumble Rick ever wrote me back. Maybe I'm not his favorite anymore. Let's see. I know I tagged him. Nope. He did not respond to me. I don't know. I think it has something to do with some updates that they're doing. Pill to Heaven. Rumble's doing fine. Are you on the app or are you using the browser? Slydog, you don't use the app? Yeah, the app. I haven't had a good experience with the app. That's probably the nicest way I can say it. What's up, Meta? Happy freedom to you. Guess I'm not sure what you're talking about. Well, let's see what our first video is. 4 minutes? Yeah, we could do it. These people are all standing around. I assume if President Trump was about to walk out, they'd have to take a seat. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. We'll go ahead and play our first video. I'll keep this pulled up. President Trump gets on stage. He'll go ahead and take priority. I don't care if we're in the middle of this video or not. But either way, let's go ahead and get things rolling here. This first video is titled, "People Will Die If USDA Doesn't Limit Salmonella in Poultry." Now, they're blaming President Trump for the existence of salmonella. Like he created it. These people are stupid. Apparently, President Trump is rolling back some policy or something like that. And I think it's News Nation. I'm pretty sure. They're here to tell you how scared they are. They literally say, "I'm really scared because of this." So that means that you should be really scared too, I guess. But either way, before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick. We have these Trump was right about everything t-shirts. Now, this design was created by Alistair, and Alistair is a badass in just about everything he does. So I will be posting his link in all of the chats for you hooligans to have the opportunity to hire him for your creative needs. Because if you think it, he can create it. Now, this design does come in shirts for men, shirts for women, tank tops for men, tank tops for women, pullover hoodies, zipper hoodies, coffee mugs, dog tags, and we've made long sleeve shirts out of this design. Today I got on the Hooligan 2A t-shirt. We got lots of items and lots of designs over on the merch store. I'll be dropping the links in the chats while we're watching this first video.
Happy Wednesday morning, everyone. President Trump is reversing a Biden-era effort pushing poultry companies to prevent salmonella from contaminating their meat products. The Agriculture Department says it's reconsidering the move. Critics say this move could leave grocery shoppers exposed to dangerous bacteria that sends hundreds of thousands of people to the emergency room every single year. Joining me now to break down this dinner plate decision is Dr. Omer Awan, a physician and senior public health contributor for Forbes. Always great to see you, Doc. Good morning.
Good morning, Hannah.
The USDA rule was 3 years in the making. It just passed last summer, of course, aimed at cutting down on food poisoning, which, by the way, poultry still remains the leading source of foodborne illness. I know you know that. I wanted to remind our viewers. So why roll this back?
Well, this is going to be a huge blow to public health, particularly when you consider how pervasive salmonella infection is, as you just stated, Hannah. I mean, we're talking about something that is a leading cause of foodborne illness. We're talking about an infection that results in more than 1 million cases per year in America. And as you said, 26,000 hospitalizations, and people actually die from this. More than 400 people die from this. So I'm scared and I fear that if this is rolled over, we will have more sick people in America, we'll have more hospitalizations, and people will die because of this.
There are industry groups like the National Chicken Council. They're applauding this. They're saying the rule would have been too expensive for farmers and poultry companies. But from a scientific perspective, does that argument hold any weight? Do the costs outweigh the dangers?
Not really, because there really should be no cost or no price when it comes to the health of Americans. I mean, salmonella is a very serious infection. People typically have fever, abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and in some cases, it can result in dehydration and hospitalization, and as we said, very rarely death. So we can't really put a price on health when it may save, people at the grocery store some money, or it may save the food industry, potentially millions of dollars, but
All right, President Trump is coming out on stage. I know you guys are all intrigued about how scared you should be of salmonella. Don't you worry, we'll get back to it. After we are done covering the president, make sure you grab the link for whatever platform is your favorite. Share it out on social media. Hit that like button if you haven't already. And let's hear what the president has to say.
Well, thank you very much. Please sit down. Please, thank you. We have a lot of great political leaders, and the biggest political leaders around, I guess you could say, but by far much bigger are the business leaders. It's not even close. I say that to my friends, the politicians. You have the greatest business leaders in the world here, so it's an honor. And this week we're celebrating the most successful first 100 days of any administration in American history. We're thrilled to welcome to the White House dozens of the world top leaders of all kinds, but in particular business leaders. And since the election, the companies represented in this room have collectively announced more than $2 trillion in new investments, and we have a total of close to $8 trillion all told. And there's never been anything like that in this country. We've never had anything close. I would say if you looked at the last administration, probably for 4 years they did maybe less than one. And we've done almost 8. I would say we'll be above 8 in a period of 2 months. So something happened. I think two things happened. November 5th happened, and November 5th gave you tariffs, intelligently used tariffs and various other forms of incentive. But it's really amazing. There's never been, I don't think there's ever been anything like this anywhere in the world. Together we're going to bring back the most beautiful words. I always say made in the USA, the most beautiful words. We're going to have made in the USA like we haven't had before in a long time. In addition to the business leaders whose companies I will mention in just a moment, we have some great people, great senators. Marcia, where are you? Where are you, Martha? Marcia, thank you very much. Marcia Blackburn, Bill Cassidy. Bill, thank you, Bill. Ashley Moody. Ashley, thank you. And John Husted. John, thank you very much. And Representatives Byron Donalds, Buddy Carter, Rob Whitman, Mark Alford, Mike Rogers, Richard Hudson, and Abe Hamadeh. Thank you all very much. Mark Alford. We have Mike Kehoe, governors, Jim Pillen, Kevin Stitt, Mike Dunleavy, along with numerous other members of my cabinet, and I want to thank you all for being here. How come my cabinet has such good locations? You should have given them up to the business leaders. We want their money, you know. They have very good locations. I'm not surprised. 100 days ago this week, we inherited the wreckage of 4 years of economic disaster under the previous administration. It was an economic disaster. It was a disaster at the border like nobody had ever seen before. And you probably see we've closed up the border 99.999%, meaning 3 people got in. 3. As opposed to hundreds of thousands of people coming in on a monthly basis, millions of people actually. There are periods where we had millions and millions of people pouring in on a monthly basis. We had 3 people. They buried companies in crippling regulations, waged war on American energy, pushed massive tax hikes, and gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country. In Biden's final year, the United States had the worst trade deficit ever recorded, and we lost 106,000 manufacturing jobs. Other than that, he's done a fantastic job. But now all that is changing, and all that's changing very fast, because we finally have the president who wants to put our country first. You have a president who believes in America first. In the first quarter GDP numbers just out today, core GDP, now we're removing distortions from imports, inventories, and government spending, was up plus 3%. But this is Biden's economy because we took over on January 20th. And I think you have to get us a little bit of time to get moving. But this is the Biden economy. But we still had and we've had a lot of things happen since November 5th that helped this economy because it was indicating a strong private sector growth. And it only started after November 5th. The private sector started really heating up after the election. Even though I wasn't there, people knew what we were going to be doing, and the private sector growth was actually very good. Very importantly, gross domestic investment was up an incredible 22%, which they had never seen before. Every new investment, every new factory, and every new job created is a sign of strength in American economy and a declaration of confidence in America's future. We really do. We've never seen anything like this. Even Samsung, whose name isn't mentioned here, but I heard that they announced this morning that they're going to be building a very big plant because they want to be able to beat the tariffs. It's the only way to beat them. The entire Trump economic agenda is about making it easier to do business in America, to create jobs in America, to hire American workers, and to build your factories here in America, not in China or any other country. And we're dealing with many, many countries right now, I will say, and I think I can say for Scott and for Howard and for some of the people that are dealing, there are too many to handle. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd love to hire some of the people running these companies. Boy, would you do a good job. I could have Jensen negotiate. He'd blow my people away, wouldn't you? I think even Howard would say that. Howard would say, we'll take them. He'd blow them away with big deals. One deal would be the end. That would be it. But we've terminated the Green New scam. It was a scam. And halted tens of billions of dollars of money, wasteful deficit spending. It was like throwing money right out the window. And in the coming weeks, we'll pass the largest tax cuts in American history. And I think even more so, we'll be doing things for business like you've never seen before. You saw it in a little smaller version at the beginning of our last term. You know, we had the most successful 4 years that any president has ever had. The stock market was up 88%. The other markets were up almost 100%. And that's despite COVID and all the crazy things happening. But we had a tremendous 4 years. We've given credit for that, actually. But our big, beautiful bill, as I call it, our big, beautiful bill, we may name it that, actually, will include 100% expensing retroactive to January 20th. So that's all the way back to just about the beginning of the year. So expensing 1 year, you take a deduction 1 year so you can build your factories right now, essentially almost tax-free if you think about it. Nobody's ever been given that. And we're going to make that expensing for a 4-year period at a full 100%. So last time we made it 1 year and you had deductions, you'd go from 100% to 80 to 60 to 40 to 20 to Zippo. And now what we're going to do is we're going to keep it at that level, and we're going to have it for 4 years. So I believe that was one of the reasons that we had such unbelievable growth. Also, we allowed you to bring money back from outside of the country. It was impossible. You had to have 15 different law firms representing you. It was so complicated. And worse was that the tax rate was 65%. I lowered the rate substantially, but still a lot. You know, we shouldn't take your money just to hold you hostage, right? So we lowered it to a reasonable amount, and we took in trillions of dollars, came back. Apple brought in a tremendous amount of money. A lot of the companies here brought in a lot of money, and the businesses represented today clearly understand that if you build your factory in the United States, your tariff rate is 0, and you have other advantages too, and not the least of which is what I just said having to do with the bill. Now, we have to get that bill approved, so call your local representative, please, and make sure that we get it approved, because I don't want to talk too early, but we're doing well with the Republican Congress. We have the Senate is doing great, and the House is doing great. John Thune has been spectacular. Mike Johnson has been spectacular. Marcia, you're in there working very hard and doing well. What do you think? Are we going to get it passed? We have to. Marcia, we don't get it passed, I'm blaming you. We have to get it passed. We will. I think we will. But I don't think we'll have any Democrat votes. If we don't get it passed, what would happen is your taxes go up 68%. Think of that. And we may not get one vote because they just vote against. It's Trump derangement syndrome, or maybe it's just they hate Republicans, or they hate what we're doing because they've lost their confidence. They've totally lost their confidence. They don't know what the hell is going on. And we are going to get it done. It's probably going to be fully Republican. Fortunately, we have the House, we have the Senate. And we may or may not have a couple of grandstanders, I don't know. But if we do, it would be good if you could work on anybody. I mean, if I were a Democrat, I'd be voting for it 100%, because I think it's very dangerous politically not to vote for it. Think of it, your taxes go up almost 68%. So, but it looks like we're in good shape, I think, and hopefully we'll get it approved. It'll be the biggest bill ever approved in the history of our country, and it'll be the biggest tax cut ever approved in the history of our country. And in addition to that, regulations, which I'm doing in and outside of the bill, will be as big or bigger than we did last time. We have the record for regulation cuts in the 4 years. We cut 4 times higher than any other president in a 4-year period. And we're talking about 8 years and 2-term presidents. We're 4 times higher than any other president in terms of regulation cuts. And I went to a friend of mine who happens to be in the room, one of the biggest business leaders. I won't mention him because I don't know, maybe he'll like it, maybe he won't. I said to him, so have you had your choice between the big tax cut last time and the big regulation cuts, which were the biggest, again, the biggest we've ever done? I would have said taxes, but he would have said regulation. I said, which was more important to you? And he said, if I could only have one, yeah, if you could only have one, he said, most important would have been regulation. The regulation was more important than the tax cut. And, I mean, we cut your taxes from almost 40% down to 21%. Now we're bringing your taxes down from 21% to 15% if you build your product, make your product in the USA. So if you make it in the USA, those chips, those beautiful chips, will make those suckers in the USA, and you're going to be all the way down to 15%, and I think there's never been anything like it. So now we're at the lowest scale for a large country, by far the lowest scale. Our pro-jobs, pro-American economic policies are a major reason that businesses around the world have announced $5 trillion of investment since November 5th, and now we think it's up to plus $8 trillion, and they're really coming in. They're really coming in fast. Some of them don't bother calling us. Some of them don't even want meetings. They just start their plants and start their factories. I want to express my tremendous appreciation to the business leaders here. You are really an amazing group. This is a who's who. I don't want to say, there's an expression if something ever went off, the entire industry would be wiped out, but I won't say that. I want to think very positively. And that could never happen here, could it? But I want to congratulate you all on your incredible success and accomplishments. You've been amazing. You're the biggest and the best. So I'd like to introduce some of you, President and CEO of Hyundai, Jose Munoz. Jose, thank you very much. Fantastic.
Oh, he did the Hitler salute.
$21 billion, including $5.8 billion for a new steel plant in Louisiana, which is a beauty. I saw a picture of it, which is going to create at least 1,500 jobs, just the plant alone. Thank you very much, Jose. Beautiful. Chairman and CEO of global shipping giant CMA, CGM, Rodolphe Sade. Thank you, Rodolphe. Thank you very much. Fantastic. Investing $20 billion in creating 10,000 new jobs at least. Thank you very much. That's fantastic. You'll be very happy. President and CEO of Toyota North America, Ted Ogawa, investing $88 billion. Where's Ted? That's fantastic. Thank you, Ted. That's fantastic. Ted's investing $88 million for car production at its West Virginia factory, which is a beauty. I've seen it, actually. Congratulations. Thank you very much for being here, Ted. Co-founder and CEO of Anduril, Brian Schimpf. Oh, Brian. Thank you, Brian. He's investing $1 billion for a new manufacturing facility in Ohio and display. Next to me is their 125-pound Roadrunner drone. Where is that little sucker? Where is it? Which is that? Whoa. That's a nasty-looking thing. That's a nasty. I look up there when I'm having dinner outside. I used to look up and see the moon. Isn't it beautiful? Now you see the moon, but you see drones all over the place. And I say, let's get the hell out of here. That's a good one, isn't it, huh? I can see it. CEO of Worldwide Amazon Stores, Doug Harrington. Thank you very much. Thank you, Doug, very much. Investing $4 billion this year alone, and I know they said they're going to be investing a lot over the next 2 years. We appreciate it very much. Thank you, and say hello to everybody. CEO of Venture Global, Mike Sable. Mike, thank you very much, Mike. Investing $18 billion in liquefied natural gas expansion in Louisiana. That's going to work out good. Thank you very much. President and CEO of Siemens USA, big company, Barbara Humpton. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you very much. Investing $285 million. Executive Global Chairman of Pratt Industries, friend of mine, Anthony Pratt. He's investing $5 billion. Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. I read a report today he's the richest man in Australia, but who the hell knows? Do you think you're the richest man in Australia? Close.
They're after his Lucky Charms.
Spot like that, Anthony, but that's pretty good. Thank you very much. That's great. $5 billion. Founder and CEO, Chobani Hamde Oliaka. Where are you? Thank you very much. Investing $1.2 billion. Thank you very much. CEO of Bell Brands USA, Yvonne Girard. Yvonne, thank you very much. Thank you very much. $350 million. President of Schneider Electric North America, Amr Paul. Amr, thank you very much. Investing $700 million for energy infrastructure in its largest investment in its 135-year history. Chairman and CEO of Johnson & Johnson. Oh, I know. I've heard of that company, huh? My hair looks so beautiful because of your product. Joaquin Duato, $55 billion manufacturing plant and research and development and technology. Thank you very much. $55 billion. That's a lot. But you got to catch up with Apple and some of the others. We got to get you to make a little. You one of the few companies that could do that, right? Chair and CEO of Eli Lilly, a great guy. Every time I talk to him about drug prices, he sweet talks me. He tells me about the middleman. The middleman keeps telling me about the middleman. By the time I leave the meetings, I was telling my people, I say, gee, he's giving us a great bargain. You know, but David, you have done some job. David Ricks, you have done some job. I'll see you later, too. $27 billion, doubling its manufacturing investment in the U.S., and he's got a very hot topic right now going, don't you? This stuff is doing really well, isn't it? Really hot company. Thank you very much, David. CEO of Novartis, Vas Narasimhan, and that's $23 billion. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Vas. CEO of Genentech, Ashley Mugargi, $50 billion. Whoa, that's a lot of money. Good, thank you, Ashley. That's a big one. CEO of AbbVie, Rob Michael, $10 billion. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good company. President and CEO of Thermo Fisher, Mark Casper, $2 billion. Thank you, Mark, very much. Chairman and CEO of Merck, great company, Rob Davis, $9 billion. Thank you very much, Rob. Chairman and CEO of Abbott, Robert Ford, $500 million. Thank you, Robert. Chairman and CEO of a company called IBM. Arvind, where are you? Where are you? Thank you very much. That's fantastic. $150 billion. That's all? That's great. Thank you very much. You've done a great job. You've done a great job with that company, too, I'll tell you. Chairman and CEO of GE Aerospace, Larry Culp. Larry, thank you very much, Larry. And Larry's investing $1 billion in manufacturing across 16 states, and with us as we have the model of their F-110 engine, which I hear is like, I must tell you, I hear it's the hottest engine there is. You got a gold mine over there, Larry, which powers our nation's finest fighter jets and other jets. And your big engine is really something that I hear is beyond anything that has been produced yet. So Good luck with it. And Larry, I think we're going to ask you to say a few words, actually. So come on up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to be here representing all of my colleagues at GE Aerospace. We are today 125 years old, but we are inventing the future of flight. Today, we power 3/4 of the world's commercial airlines and nearly 2/3 of the U.S. military combat jets and helicopters. So what you see here with the F-110 powers 70% of the newest Air Force F-15s and the F-16s. I know you were in Michigan just yesterday. Yeah. This is the engine that will be under wing on the F-15EX Eagle II that the Michigan Air National Guard will soon be flying. We're excited about what's happening at our company. We're investing $1 billion this year, as the President said, across 16 states, not only in our manufacturing footprint, but with so many of the small and mid-sized businesses that constitute our supply chain. There's a lot happening. We're excited about it. Mr. President, thank you for what you're doing, not only to revitalize U.S. manufacturing, but helping ensure that the U.S. aerospace industry, one of our biggest net exporters, continues to lead the world in innovation. Thank you. Thank you.
Great job. And he has done a really great job. You took over a slightly troubled company, and now you've made it hot as a pistol. So that's really an amazing job you've done in a short period of time. Also with us is Chairman and CEO of SoftBank, Masa. Where's Masa? Masa, come on up here, Masa. Masa has pledged $200 billion plus another $500 billion with Oracle and OpenAI for a total of $700 billion. Thank you, Masa. Come on up, please.
Why he moved the mic so low?
Well, first time of Trump administration, we made an announcement, commitment, $50 billion. We delivered $70 billion over 4 years last time. This time, I tried to commit $100 billion, and President Trump said, "Oh, Masa, go for more." So we did that $200 billion commitment, and then right after that, we SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, and MGX together, we announced $500 billion investment. This is the largest investment for infrastructure in the United States, investment. And I think this is more than the scale. The importance is this is the largest infrastructure for the AI, which is the future of mankind, I believe. It's going to change every industry, every way of how our mankind's lifestyle of the future. I am committed. U.S. is the center of innovation. U.S. must continue the leadership of AI. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just a little guy.
A friend of mine for a long time. These guys are a mover. We got to say, you are really something. It's great. We appreciate it too. It's great spirit, great genius. Tim Cook from Apple is pledging, not only pledging, is committed to $500 billion. They're going to build plants all over the country, 7 or 8 different states. They've already started. And so I want to thank Tim. That's such a big investment for somebody that, had them pretty much in one location, as you know. Now they're coming into the United States, I believe, because of the spirit and the tariffs and the incentives. So that's Apple for $500 billion. And one of the most brilliant men that you'll ever meet, a man that's done in a short period of time something that is incredible. He's the founder, CEO, and president of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang. He's producing up to $500 billion over the next 4 years to manufacture the most powerful AI chips entirely in the USA for the first time ever. Jensen, would you come up and say a few words? This is a smart cookie.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great honor to be here. NVIDIA reinvented computing for the first time after 60 years. In fact, Ervin at IBM knows quite well that the computer has largely been the same since the 60s. The IBM System 360 described really quite perfectly the computer that we use today. Central processing units, operating systems, the separation of hardware and software, I/O subsystems, multitasking. All of the words that we use to describe computers today were really invented in 1964, the year after my birth. Well, after all this time, we've reinvented computers again. This is what a processor looks like. It's on the right there. People say it's a GPU. That's one GPU unit, and it's 70 pounds, 60,000 parts, 10,000 watts. In order to manufacture it requires probably a couple of hundred companies in the supply chain. It is so heavy that it requires robotics to do. It's so precise. And just to test a supercomputer requires a supercomputer. And we're going to build NVIDIA's technology, the next generation of that, all here in the United States. Without the President's leadership, his policies, his support, and very importantly, his strong encouragement. And I mean his strong encouragement. Frankly, manufacturing in the United States wouldn't have accelerated to this pace. Manufacturing isn't about low-cost labor anymore. Manufacturing is about technology. And most of the factories that build these systems today are the most advanced factories in the future. And we're going to use artificial intelligence and robotics and omniverse digital twin technology to make it possible for us to create the factories of the future. And we ought to build it. We ought to build it right here. The really amazing thing is that this computer is the engine of a whole new industry. And this new industry is called artificial intelligence. And this new industry is a manufacturing industry in itself. That's a factory machine. Just as several hundred years ago, the dynamo was invented, water would come in and electricity would come out. Now electricity goes into this machine and incredible tokens come out, artificial intelligence. In order for this industry to thrive, we need to build these systems, of course, but we also need a progressive growth and industry-oriented energy policy, which this president has really put his weight behind. I really appreciate that. Without energy, we can't possibly have new growth industries. And we now have the backing of the administration, the backing of President Trump to support the creation of a whole new industry. This industry is going to enable a whole bunch of other industries. What we now call the AI infrastructure is going to revolutionize every industry that we know. All of the many CEOs in the room today are great partners of ours for that reason. We're working on artificial intelligence for many industries, from healthcare to drug discovery to life sciences, financial services, education, so many different industries. And that's going to be possible because we have the fundamental infrastructure here in the United States. And so I want to thank you, sir, for everything that you've done and the strong encouragement and the great policies that make it possible for us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Another brilliant man. You know, we have brilliant people here, and we like brilliant people, actually, but we have a lot of brilliant people in this group, and it's an honor to be with you. Past 100 days have been fighting to reclaim our jobs and bring our country back to a level that it's never seen before, and again renew the American dream, which is what we're doing. We have tremendous spirit. I don't know if you've heard, but it's become really quite a story. I see Pete's right over here, Secretary of Defense. We have the largest number of new enlistees or people enlisting in the military forces that we've ever had. And if you remember, 6 months ago, we couldn't get anybody to sign up. That's a big turn in a very short period of time. And November 5th had a lot to do with that, and our Secretary of Defense and a lot of the people that you see sitting here really had a lot to do with that. There's great spirit. I can say that also with the police forces throughout the country. We're having a hard time filling them up. It's a dangerous job, but now We have waiting lists at almost every place, and that's an amazing accomplishment when you think. It's amazing. And when I first came here, you remember just 3 months ago, I came in and they started screaming. The fake news was screaming. They were going crazy about eggs. I don't know about eggs. What's with eggs? Tell me. They said, their cost is up 50%, and you won't have them for Easter. I said, well, I'll have to get onto it. But this isn't my problem. This is Biden's problem. I've only been here for 4 days. They're screaming at me about eggs like it was my fault. I just got here. Didn't know anything about it. We got it taken care of, and eggs dropped 87% in the last short period of time, and everybody had eggs for Easter. In fact, we had a big Easter egg hunt on the lawns. We had 48,000 people actually came, and we had a lot of eggs. I don't know how many, but there were a lot. We didn't use plastic. They said, could you use plastic eggs? This is in early January, and I see our Secretary of Agriculture is here. Would you stand up? You did a great job. You got me out of a lot of trouble. Brooke Rollins. She got me out of a lot because they were trying to blame me for eggs, and I didn't know anything about it yet. Explain it to me. But we had plenty of eggs, Brooke, right, for Easter. There was no dearth. And we have another man in the audience who's maybe the most important man in the room because he's the head of the Environmental Protection Agency, meaning he's the one that approves all your plants. And when Jensen and some of the others came in about numerous of the others, especially having to do with AI, they came in. I learned a lot. Number one, I learned we need double the electricity that we have right now for the whole country, and really more than that. I mean, 2 times would be even better. It was like unlimited thirst for electricity. And at first I said, how's that possible? But that's, whatever it is, it's possible. That machine that you say you can barely lift is, I guess, it sucks up a lot of energy. But we need more than double what we have right now. So you take all of the energy, even the energy in this beautiful, incredible, is just the greatest. I mean, no matter, I don't care where you come from with your $50 billion plant, the White House is the White House, right? You got to see in the Oval Office. If you want to take a trip down to the Oval Office, any of you come down with me. I'll show you a beautiful office. It'll blow your beautiful offices away. They'll stop and they'll say, for a lot of other reasons, but it's a beautiful place. And if you want to, I'm serious, you can do that. But I told Jensen, I told Tim, I told everybody that's building these very big, incredible plants, really plants of the future. They were talking about hooking into the grid. I said, well, the grid is old, and it's subject to mishap. Things can happen, including storms and much worse than storms. And if you want, I'll let you build your own utility plant, your own electric plant along with your building. You can build it inside of the plant, or you can build it outside of the plant. And I went to Lee Zeldin right here, and I said, Lee, we got to get fast approvals for these people. They're going to do the best job. They're going to have the best engineers, the best everything. We'd like to have them build their electric for them. They don't have to go outside. You become a utility. You become a great producer of electric. And if you have any extra, you put it back into the grid if you want, or you sell it back in. But you're going to be able to build, so this way we don't have to worry about, do we have enough? Because if you look at California, they have brownouts, blackouts, and everything else. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Governor doesn't have a clue. But the last thing you want to do is be hooking up to the California grid so that we can go in and you'll say, gee, we have to close down the factory for a couple of days. We have a little brownout going on. So you're going to be able to build your own plant and produce as much electric as your beautiful heart's desire. And that'll be something that nobody's done before. And we're going to ask Lee to get those approved very quickly. And he'll get it approved before you can even imagine. He's great. He's great. He knows the difference. You can take years to get those approved. I would say previous to us, it would be years and years. Or you could take weeks to get them approved, and it'll be just as good. But they don't play games, and they're going to get it done, and they'll get it done very quickly. So that's going to be a big help because you're going to have unlimited energy, unlimited electricity. And I think it's going to really, we want to stay number one. We're number one right now by a lot. I will say this. If I didn't get elected, I would say get out of the AI business fast. Get out of all business fast, probably. Maybe get out of the country fast, because this country was heading in the wrong direction, but now it's heading in the right direction. I think it's the most consequential 100 days in the history of our country in certain ways. We had an editorial from a group that normally wouldn't give good editorials to people like me. And they said he's the most consequential president because of what he's doing with all of these policies that you're reading about, long beyond the electricity and the plants, having to do with many other things like secure borders and all of the many, many things. I could go down and name them. We're gonna be getting tremendous amounts of drug and pharmaceutical companies going to be pouring into the country. They're going to have to. They're going to have to, and we're going to give them a lot of time to do it, but after that, there's going to be a tariff wall put up, and they won't be happy about it, but they'll be happy if they start building right now. Right now, it's going to be build, and after a certain period of time, it's going to get tougher, and then it's going to be real hard to do business in this country. So for the pharmaceutical companies, chip companies, a lot of different companies, we're all set to really grow. Groceries are down. The grocery prices are down. Gasoline prices are down. We had some gasoline selling for $1.98 a gallon just recently in 3 different states over the last 2 days. It was at $4, and it was higher than that in some places. It was over $5. We have it way down. Energy prices are down all over the country. Mortgage rates are actually down slightly, even though I have a guy in the Fed that I'm not a huge fan of, but that's all right. These are minor details. Don't tell him I said that, please. As the cameras rock and roll back there. No, he should reduce interest rates. I think I understand interest a lot better than him because I've had to really use interest rates. But we should have interest rates go down. It would be positive, but it's not going to matter that much because ultimately, what we're creating has much more to do with other things than it does just pure interest rates. But it would be nice for people wanting to buy homes and things. The prescription drug prices just saw the largest monthly decline ever recorded. So, David, I'm having a little bit of an impact, at least on you, as I browbeat this guy. He's got he looks like he's 25 years old. He has this massive company, Eli Lilly, and it has no impact on him whatsoever. But I just see this number just came out. It's the largest monthly decline ever recorded. Yeah, but it's probably about 2%. They did that to make me feel a little bit better. But I appreciate it. We have achieved the lowest number of illegal border crossings in U.S. history, and we're at a level that nobody thought we could get to in 2 years, let alone a couple of months. And I think Kristi Noem is here someplace. Where is Kristi? She's here. Stand up, Kristi. And Tom Homan. And I see Linda. Stand up, Linda. You are doing so good. Education. We're bringing education back to the States, where it belongs. And she's been incredible. She's very upset with Harvard. They have $53 billion in a fund, and yet they want more grants. And it looks like we're not going to be giving them any more grants, right, Linda? And, a grant is at our discretion, and they're really not behaving well, so it's too bad. But our country is roaring like never before. Nobody's ever really seen anything like this. And again, the big thing is whether it's $8 trillion or even more than that, by the end of the year, it could be a number that would be, I think it's already, there's never been anything like it, but this is in a period of a couple of months. I think by the end of the year, the numbers will be just staggering. It's really going to be something very special, and I'm very honored to be with you. And I'd ask if anybody has any questions, please. This is your time. This is your time. You'll be live on television, all the fake news back there. Now that'll keep them down, right? That's the way to keep them down, unless they're bad people, in which case, unless they want to make some news. Would anybody have any questions? Anybody? Business leaders? You want to know anything about depreciation? No? I love it. We've done such a good job, we don't have to take. Howard, would you like to say a couple of words, please?
President talks about $8 trillion coming into America. And there's only one reason it's coming in. It's because he's finally set an industrial policy for the United States of America. We are the greatest economy in the world. We finally have a president who understands that we need to reindustrialize. We need to be made in America, made in the USA. And you feel it. You feel it with these leaders. You feel it across all your peers. Everyone feels it. It's coming back to America, and we are going to be rocking. So thank you, sir.
Great job. Great job. So thank you very much, everybody. And for the business leaders, if any of you would like to come down to the Oval and say hello, if you've never seen it, if you have seen it, just go home and enjoy your lives, count your money. But if you'd like to come down, I'm heading down there now. And again, thank you very much, everybody. Pam, you're doing a fantastic job. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
And as Secretary Howard Lutnick just said, this is the Industrial Revolution of this time, this 21st century golden era. There's Kelly.
Okay, there's President Trump live. I think that's the last live of the day. I don't know. They still don't update his schedule, but that's okay. We'll go back to the news. It's always good hearing from the president. He's not usually hanging out with a bunch of billionaires and stuff, not on camera. Either way, good stuff, making big investments for America. Let's get back to the fear-mongering. Once again, this is titled, People Will Die If USDA Doesn't Limit Salmonella in Poultry. Again, they're pretty much blaming President Trump for salmonella poisoning. Me and Orange Man. Yeah, just poisoning America. Anyways, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommiTube. Let's get into this.
Happy Wednesday morning, everyone. President Trump is reversing a Biden-era effort pushing poultry companies to prevent salmonella from contaminating their meat products. The Agriculture Department says it's reconsidering the move. Critics say this move could leave grocery shoppers exposed to dangerous bacteria that sends hundreds of thousands of people to the emergency room every single year. Joining me now to break down this dinner plate decision is Dr. Omer Awan, a physician and senior public health contributor for Forbes. Always great to see you, Doc. Good morning.
Good morning, Hannah.
The USDA rule was 3 years in the making. It just passed last summer, of course, aimed at cutting down on food poisoning, which, by the way, poultry still remains the leading source of foodborne illness. I know you know that. I wanted to remind our viewers. So why roll this back?
Well, this is going to be a huge blow to public health, particularly when you consider how pervasive salmonella infection is, as you just stated, Hannah. I mean, we're talking about something that is a leading cause of foodborne illness. We're talking about an infection that results in more than 1 million cases per year in America. And as you said, 26,000 hospitalizations, and people actually die from this. More than 400 people die from this. So I'm scared and I fear that if this is rolled over, we will have more sick people in America, we'll have more hospitalizations, and people will die because of this.
There are industry groups like the National Chicken Council. They're applauding this. They're saying the rule would have been too expensive for farmers and poultry companies. But from a scientific perspective, does that argument hold any weight? Do the costs outweigh the dangers?
Not really, because there really should be no cost or no price when it comes to the health of Americans. I mean, salmonella is a very serious infection. People typically have fever, abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and in some cases, it can result in dehydration and hospitalization, and as we said, very rarely death. So we can't really put a price on health when it may save, people at the grocery store some money, or it may save the food industry, potentially millions of dollars, but there could be millions of dollars in costs when we're treating all these patients that end up going to the hospital.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s messaging has been clear. It's been consistent. We want to make America healthy again. This action doesn't seem to back that. What can he do? Do you think they could reverse that the decision was, again, just made yesterday?
Well, I think they have to look at the body of evidence to consider, well, are the risks going to outweigh the benefits? And my sense is that no, that's not going to happen. You know, the risk here will outweigh the benefits. And the messaging, as you said, from Robert F. Kennedy has to be very clear and transparent to the American public. And that's what he has promised. He has promised radical transparency. And it's time that they do that, particularly when we consider all the manifestations that this could potentially have. And I fear that this could harm Americans more than benefit Americans.
Dr. Awan, before I let you go, what can consumers do at home to protect themselves?
Well, they can start by avoiding undercooked meats, making sure that they refrigerate perishable foods, making sure that they wash our hands for 20 seconds. Remember, that's very hard to do. We go to the bathroom, we go to the restroom, we wash our hands.
It's very hard to do.
What's required is washing your hands for 20 seconds to make sure that we get rid of all the germs and the bacteria that could potentially be causing some of these deadly diseases like salmonella.
Dr. Omer Awan, always great talking to you, sir. Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get...
Okay. Well, that's a nice little bit of propaganda there. First, they were telling us it was the chicken flu. Now it's the chickens themselves. This doctor gets on screen and talks about how he's really scared. He's really scared because of this. Then they say it's very hard to wash your hands. Washing your hands for 20 seconds. I mean, most people can't do it. They're just not capable. Then they want to spin it to be Trump's fault. All of it is it's all Trump's fault. Just like the egg prices. Oh, that's all Trump's fault there. I mean, all you got to do is, and it's going to be difficult, you got to put your food in the fridge, and if you cook it till it's done. And again, 20 seconds to wash your hands. I know that's really hard for us here in America. Spin, spin, spin. All that fear-mongering. Let's get the propaganda out of the way. I wish I wouldn't have broke my remote. Anyways, next up, we got a video from earlier today. It's titled, I Would Never Tell Rubio on If Kilmar Abrego Garcia Return Has Been Requested. This is the poor father from Maryland who just happens to be a woman-beating MS-13 gang member that's an illegal. Of course, he's down in El Salvador now, having himself a nice stay at CCOT. We'll go ahead and run through this really quick because we have a ton of news today. After this, we will hop in the chat. So let's go ahead and get into this. But first, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommiTube.
You brought up El Salvador in your remarks. Have you been in touch with El Salvador about returning Abrego Garcia? Has a formal request from this administration been made?
Well, I would never tell you that. And you know who else I'll never tell? A judge. Because the conduct of our foreign policy belongs to the President of the United States and the executive branch, not some judge. So we will conduct foreign policy appropriately if we need to. But I'll never discuss it. And no one will ever make us discuss it because that's how foreign policy works.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, real quick video there. Rubio saying it's none of your damn business. He's in El Salvador. He's a gang member. He's an illegal, and it just simply doesn't matter. But they want to keep him in the news because he's one of their lefty martyrs out there between Mahmoud Khalil, Garcia, Carmelo Anthony, right? These are just looming idols that the left has, waiting to see what bad thing happens to which that will cause them to put fire in the streets. We're going to have a spicy summer. I just don't see any way around it. Next up, we have high school lacrosse players could face kidnapping charges in hazing incident. 11 high schoolers were involved. 5 players of the lacrosse team were victimized. They mentioned that they were using a pistol and a knife to intimidate these other people. I think it's a little bit more than bullying going on at that school. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about the really scary salmonella, as well as Rubio telling press mind their own business. Here, Juicer. Oh, horse shit. 1 million cases in America per year. That's 1 in 300 people, and I don't know anybody who has contracted salmonella. Yeah, here, Juicer. I'm in the same boat. I've never heard of anybody actually getting it. I know it's out there, I guess, but I don't know anybody that's ever got it. Those are inflated numbers. Jay Spray, it's like cooking chicken is new to people. Yeah, they're trying to convince the normies. You know, President Trump, he screwed up the eggs. He caused the chicken flu. And now the damn chickens, you know, they'll just give you salmonella poisoning. There's somebody eating a raw chicken breast right now watching this. They're like, oh no, I was supposed to cook this first? Russell, choke your chicken first, then you cook it. It'll be good. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's the way. You do it in that order? Let me see. Oh, Winston, yeah, we got 3 clips from the ABC interview that happened yesterday. Bobby, I got it from a hooker one time. Should have cooked her better. You gotta cook her till she's done. What's up, Rip Curl? Happy Freedom. Rip Curl, I'm not sure if things are as rosy as Trump likes to say, but we need to do something. I just wish they would stop stopping all of his efforts as he tries to make changes. Yeah, Rip Curl, that's how I feel too. They want to talk bad about President Trump, but anything he does, they stop it from happening. So how can they even bitch about what he's doing when they don't let him do anything? Just doesn't make sense. J-Dog Rubio doesn't take shit from nobody. No, he's actually been pretty surprisingly good, in my opinion. I didn't know anything about him. We were covering those last couple rallies. President Trump was doing between like 3 and 5 rallies a day leading up to the election. And I remember Rubio stepping on stage and people booing him and stuff at the MAGA rallies. So I wasn't really sure, but since he's been a part of the cabinet, it seems like he's doing good. Era 16 Little Mario turned out to be pretty tough, yeah. Bill Clay, I wash my hands for 17 seconds. It's a new PR. I've worked in a lot of restaurants ever since I was a teenager, and we used to sit there and sing Happy Birthday. You'd have to sing it twice while you wash your hands. And they would check the cameras to make sure you're doing it, because you get caught not washing your hands, it's a strike in the kitchen when food inspectors come through. What's up, Cody? Happy Freedom to you. J-Dog, I rubbed the chicken all over my face. Do you choke it first, though? You know, that's the real question here. What's up, MC? Happy Freedom to you. I hate the fake news so much. I know. We only cover the fake news, so when you see people wearing 3 layers of gloves and they're picking up chicken breasts at Walmart and carefully putting it in their cart so it doesn't self-destruct, you'll know why. It's because they're watching news like that. And that's why I always try to put out there, if we're going to be covering propaganda, I don't want you guys to be fooled, duped by the dumb shit. I just want you to be aware. Like I'm saying, when you go to Walmart, you see people acting like freaks. I want you to know why. If I got to watch it, you got to watch it. That's the rule of thumb here. What's up, Zupia? Happy Freedom to you. What's up, Shroomish? Happy Freedom to you. Shroomish, they were booing him because he was part of Mitch McConnell's neocon clique. Oh, I didn't realize that. What's up, Mary Todd? Happy Freedom to you. I saw a reality show where a lady washed her chicken in Dawn dish soap. Supposedly a smart businesswoman too. I don't know anything about that. I know that they advertise little ducks being washed in Dawn dish soap. Like, I don't know. I don't remember what it was. I think it was when the BP line broke in the Gulf of America and all that, and people were finding like oil in the beaches and stuff, and they were claiming you can use Dawn dish soap to wash your duckies or something. I don't know. What's up, Free the Texan? Happy Freedom to you. Meta ADD hand washing, yeah. I mean, they would make you sing Happy Birthday out loud if you were new. At the one restaurant I worked at for years, if you were new, they would sit there and just eyeball you, and you'd have to sing that shit out loud, or you're getting sent home for the day. No money for you. What's up, Susan? Happy Freedom to you. What's up, Master Meatball? Happy Freedom to you. Master Meatball, Trump made a mistake on the MS-13 picture, sad to say. Yeah, we got that video too. The left is definitely taking advantage of that video clip. What's up, Juggalo? Happy Freedom to you. Guess make the chickens wear masks. Yeah, and they have to stand 6 feet apart too. They got to follow the arrows on the floor. Put them in the lockdown. What's up, Johnny Cage? Happy Freedom to you. Rhonda, eating chicken right now. I feel like I'm gonna die. Help. It'd be all right. You'd be all right. They say if you donate $1 million to the DNC, you'll be okay. J-Spray fentanyl kills salmonella. Get some. That is hilarious. Get some has solved the problem here. There you go. No more chicken flu. No more salmonella. We are good. We owe all of our thanks to Get Some. Let's go ahead and move forward here. Like I said, this next one is high school lacrosse players could face kidnapping charges in hazing incident. I don't really know how this is hazing. It seems like criminal activity to me, but either way, we're still soft on crime. It is what it is. Can't do anything about it. We can just try and stay aware and stay safe. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
This morning, a hazing incident in Syracuse, New York, prompting police to give 11 high schoolers an ultimatum: surrender now or face kidnapping charges.
This is hazing on steroids.
Officials say members of the boys' varsity lacrosse team at West Hill High School victimized at least 5 younger players, taking one to a remote area after claiming they were going to McDonald's.
People came out of the woods all dressed in black. They were armed with what appeared to be at least one handgun and at least one knife. The individual had a pillowcase placed over his head. He was tied up and placed in the trunk of a car. There was a period of time where he thought that he was going to be abandoned in the middle of nowhere.
Investigators say at least 4 other students about to be victimized got away. Now authorities have given the suspects 48 hours to surrender on a misdemeanor charge or face felony charges. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
Okay. This is what happens when you don't whoop your kids. You don't discipline your kids, they grow up to be little terrorists like this. Probably over the summer they'll join Antifa. Why not? Try a little fentanyl, see how far it goes. With a bunch of dumbasses. I don't even know why they're negotiating with them. Like, what is the point of that? To act like they have a choice in this? Press charges against them. Treat them as adults. See how that goes. I don't know how they're being so soft-handed when they kidnap somebody. They're intimidating others with a handgun and a knife, and then they're like, well, it's up to you. Do you want misdemeanor charges or felony charges? What? What? That is stupid. That is stupid as shit. They're just pretty much enabling these people at this point. They actually discipline these kids. Maybe they change that behavior. Mom and dad ain't whooping that ass, so it's time for the world to do it. I've been saying that my whole damn life, ever since I've been an adult. If you don't whoop your kids and discipline them, the world will when they get old enough, and the world is not nice about it. So sometimes you got to be the bad guy, and a lot of parents don't want to because almost everybody these days is growing up in a single-parent home. And so that means you don't want to be the bad guy. You want to be your kid's best friend instead of being their parent. And then they grow up to be a piece of shit like this, and then the world's like, well, gonna have to whoop that ass. And you're like, no, he's such a sweet boy. We cover it all the damn time. It's so annoying. Next up, some Canadians think Trump affected their election in order to break Canada, so Trump would be able to absorb them as the 51st state for cheap. And this is one of the examples that is being used. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about these high schoolers that are acting like assholes. Guess the boy was involved in a rear-end collision. I have no doubt. I mean, I don't know. They said he was victimized, but other than having a pillowcase put on his head, being thrown into the back of a vehicle, and being intimidated by people wielding knives and guns, I don't know. I don't know if they hit him in the no-no spot. You never know. Snooks, what is there to negotiate? I don't know. I don't even know why they want to do that. They're trying to get them to surrender. Why? Like, why not make them surrender? It just seems weird. Guess it's lacrosse, so what happened in the woods should never be mentioned. Is that how it goes? I've never played lacrosse. Totally care. My kids feared me when they got the look. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That dad look, it's a thing. AR-16, I'm always cleaning my meat. That's good practice. Good practice. My feed, felony charges. Yeah, hold them accountable. It's like, damn, we already don't do anything to terrorists and illegals and criminals and shit. Now the kids aren't even being disciplined. They just want America to be at a free-for-all so they can send in National Guard or whatever, have martial law to control us because we can't control ourselves. Happy freedom to you, my feed. AR-16, damn terrorist lacrosse players. Yeah. Shroomish, just misdemeanor. Our justice system is failing us. Yeah. J-Dog, it's kidnapping, not hazing. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think they're downplaying it by saying it's hazing. Zupia, I live in lacrosse, but it wasn't me, though, I promise. Yeah, Zupia, we're going to have to keep an eye on you. Meta mad, mad world. It is. What's up, Richard? Happy freedom to you. Richard, parents need to start raising their kids. Yeah. Well, on top of most kids growing up in a single parent home where you don't want to be the bad guy, you just want to be the fun parent and stuff like that, you also got to work 70 hours a week in order to keep the lights on at home. And when you're doing all that working, who spend time with your kid? You know, so it's a tough situation. Like they say, it takes a village to raise a child or whatever, but when the whole village is at work 9 days out the week, you know, how do you raise that kid? So it's done by design, it seems. What's up, Jason? Happy freedom. They got him McDonald's afterwards. All better. Get him a Happy Meal. He's good to go. Wayward, whoop that trick. Yes, now that's going to be stuck in my head. Interesting, hair juicer. I seen the video at the bottom, and I thought they stuck my screenshot in that text message. I was like, what the hell? Act Blue's using my face? That ain't right. Jay Spray, I never understood all the jock locker room hazing stuff. I don't really know a lot about it. When I played football in high school, everybody was real gay, and I couldn't stand that shit. They were all naked and slapping each other's asses and all that stuff, running and giggling to the shower. I just took my ass home. I don't want to hang out with those people. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't grow up in this area though. They didn't do that where I'm from. But I came up here in high school and people do things differently here. And so I don't know anything about hazing. I've only seen it in movies. Anyways, let's go ahead and move forward here. Like I said, this next one is an example that some Canadians are using to be all mad at Trump. Now, it's weird because I can't remember ever covering like Canadian conspiracies, but this is one of them. Now, I don't know who this woman is, but there's a lot of Canadians across the internet that are making claims that President Trump intentionally affected the election in Canada. They're saying by calling it the 51st state, making fun of Trudeau, doing the tariffs, and all this other stuff, was affecting the way that Canadians were going to vote. Elderly people and things, people like that, vulnerable individuals, I suppose, felt that President Trump was bullying them. And President Trump's the Conservative Party. So they voted against the Conservative Party because they were worried about Trump or some shit. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to understand. But this woman's going to say something, and I don't know what she was supposed to say, but she says something about make Canada poor. And they're using this as proof. And there's a lot of these videos out here. I might find another one for tomorrow if you guys don't eat this one up. But there's a lot of little videos out here where they're saying that Trump intentionally affected their election. So Carney got in. He's going to run Canada into the ground. And they won't have a choice but to accept Trump's offer as 51st state because they're going to smoke their own economy. And that this is some globalist thing happening, and it's all the mean orange man's fault. And I don't understand that because that's another country. So how did our president affect your country? That doesn't make any sense to me. But either way, we're going to play this really quick. It's a 7-second video. I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy nightmare over here. Either way, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
It's my great pleasure to introduce my husband, the Prime Minister who will make Canada strong and Canada poor.
Okay, so make Canada strong and make Canada poor. Okay, that's what was said. Now let me see in these comments here. Let me see. Make Canada poor. She got that right. That's the plan. Bankrupt us so we have no choice but to become the 51st state. Canada poor is what she said at the end. Yes, Canada will be very, very poor. Never voting again because it's so rigged. It's very interesting to read what these Canadians have to say. But like I'm saying, there is a lot of people pushing this idea that President Trump did this to break Canada so we could absorb them as the 51st state. Mean orange man's fault. It's very weird. I'm still wrapping my brain around it. Either way, next up we have AOC confronted on possible 2028 presidential bid. She says it's a video. Obviously, she's being questioned about that video that they put out where she was speaking as if she was preaching, kind of presidential looking and whatnot, but she did not like the questioning. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about this Canadian conspiracy. Russell, we did not slap asses in the shower in the Army. I thought it was don't ask, don't tell, Russell. I thought that's how it went. J Spray, Canada just needs to start turning their guns in now. Well, hopefully we can liberate them before it gets that far. Ghostly, Canada likes being poor, makes tourism bigger. Canada making itself poor is a thing. Canada has openly done it before. Interesting. Maybe that's what she was talking about. Bobby, their leadership is ass. Yeah, and a lot of people are making fun of Canadians and stuff. They're like, well, why would you do that? You know, like, why vote in another liberal? You bitch that you hate Trudeau, and then you bring somebody in who's worse than Trudeau. But like we covered before the election started, it was the day of the election, there was suspicious activity going on. People bringing home sealed ballots and stuff like that. So it kind of feels like 2020 stuff. It feels like maybe their election isn't fair. Right? Like maybe somebody's interfering with it, not Russia, not Trump, but their own Democrats are probably affecting their election just because of the weird instances. And like I said, we covered that one where the guy was being called out because he was in the back of his car shuffling through unsealed ballots. He said that the poll workers told him to take the ballots home. Just bring them home with them, which is, you know, not right. That's not secure in any kind of way. So it's hard to say. I can't tell if they're actually voting in idiots or if idiots are messing with their votes. Bill Clay, some people find a way to blame Trump for everything. Yeah. Yes, they do. Reading through. J Spray, maple syrup isn't what it used to be. It's the globalist. It's a rad. Happy freedom to you. It's a blizzard. Happy freedom. Our election was a fraud. No one I know voted liberal, but here we are. Yeah, Blizzard, that's how we felt in 2020. We're all walking around, we're like, did you vote for Biden? No. Did you vote for Biden? No. I'm like driving around, it's just Trump flags and Trump signs everywhere. I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? You know, but then we covered all the inaccuracies of our 2020 election. A lot of it was televised, but YouTube started censoring us. And, well, that's why we're on Rumble at this point. What's up, Xterra? Happy freedom. What's up, Aaron? Happy freedom to you. Vinny, again, as a Canadian, Trump was not responsible for the outcome of our election. Canadians suffer from Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah, I mean, that could be too, Vinny C. Richard, I guess some people think everything is Trump's fault. I just think it's really weird that they even say that. I don't know. Next time I have a problem, I'm going to say it's Trudeau's fault or it's Carney's fault. You know, next time Klaus throws up on the floor, oh, Canada. Like, I don't know. It's weird. I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's like mean tweets. That's kind of what they're blaming. They're blaming mean tweets. Now, it's not all of Canada. It's just, you know, randos who claim to be Canadian. It might not even be Canadian. God only knows. I know the liberals here in California or in Portland or anywhere else don't represent all of America, right? So I can't just blame Canada for everything. But there's just some people claiming to be Canadians who's just mad at the mean orange man because he said words leading up to the election. I don't know. Jay Spray, the Trump thing is Canada's Russia, Russia, Russia. It really is. It really is. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this next one. Like I said, AOC being confronted about that video that she put out, asking her if what's the possibility of her running for the presidential bid in 2028. Nah, she gets all mad and stuff with her horse teeth and all of that, but let's give me a second here. We'll pull this up. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you, hooligans, really quick. If you would like to participate in Free Speech Saturday, make sure you post all of your memes over on Discord or on jeffmaclive.com. Just hop in the group chats on either platform. You'll see the tabs labeled memes. Drop what you got and we'll shout you out. So we're making Saturdays more fun. Let's get this pulled up here. Like I said, this guy AOC being questioned about that video she put out on X. It's looking very presidential-like. She didn't like these questions, though.
And then you have AOC. AOC released that social media video that we've been talking about. And then she was asked by Fox News whether or not she would run for president. Watch both of these.
You know, Idaho, I am so touched being here. I'm a girl from the Bronx. Don't let them trick us into thinking we are enemies. We are one.
So running for president after the campaign style video you put out? Are you thinking about running for president or Senate?
I mean, listen, it's a video, and frankly, I think what people should be most concerned about is the fact that Republicans are trying to cut Medicaid right now, and people's health care is in danger, and that's really what my central focus is. This moment isn't about campaigns or elections or about politics. It's about making sure people are protected.
Well, she's a great speaker, and she's got a lot of buzz.
Sounds like a yes, but the problem is she has not won over her party.
Has she
not been able
written
to get
any
a leadership.
legislation?
Not yet. She opened up with the new Green Deal, which she actually wrote, I guess, as a bartender. Because the first day, she's like, oh, I have this 2,000-page document to revolutionize our economy. Anybody else? So who wrote that? I don't know, but Senator Markey was right over her shoulder. And since then, we haven't heard much. And you know who doesn't see her? The people of Queens that elected her.
Yeah.
Doesn't really like going there that much.
Can I defend AOC, though? I mean, think
at least she
about
answered
it.
questions.
She answers questions. At least she can put a sentence together. Her ideas are crazy, but at least she has ideas.
Right.
Imagine watching Kamala Harris the last election and saying,
what do you stand for?
What do you stand for? She doesn't do any interviews. At least AOC will talk to Fox News. I mean, at least she did the interview with our Fox Digital team. She has a policy prescription. It's crazy.
Would she sit down with Lawrence Jones?
I don't know. AOC, will you come on the program?
There you go. Now you're
going to ask her out in front of us?
I'm going to ask her right now.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmer.
I don't know. I don't really want AOC to run because there's that chance that the Democrats will do something stupid to make her win. But it'll be fun making fun of her while she tries to win, though. So, I mean, at least we got that. Otherwise, I don't even know who would run. Who else is there? They're going to make Michael Obama run? I don't know. Either way, next up we got Kid Rock video. It's titled Kid Rock Calls Trump Hating Mainstream Media Public Enemy Number 1. They're going to be asking Kid Rock what he thinks about Trump's first 100 days, as well as Kid Rock calling out the mainstream media for lying and twisting the Trump agenda. Now, before we get into that, we're going to read through the chat, see what your hooligans think about AOC. Area 16, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. Shroomish, if the DNC won't let Bernie run, they definitely won't let her be the pick. Yeah, I wonder who they're going to select. Now, we got a while until we got to worry about that stuff. We got midterms coming up. I can't remember how many months we got. A few. Got a few. Quite a few. It'll be interesting to see how the midterms go, but after that, I'm sure they'll be shoving those Democrat leaders in our face, trying to figure out who they're going to pick. Everybody in the chat writing Sheeta-ho. It's not Idaho, Sheeta-ho. Happy freedom, Kevin. Shroomish, didn't South Park say blame Canada or something? Yeah, I remember. Kevin, you think what happened on your guys' election was rigged? I'm seeing a lot of that. Era 16, Kami Khan Carney loves him some CCP. That is unfortunate. Schumish. She's too far left for Democrat Party. The DNC will snuff her out like they did with Bernie. They hate democracy. They'll sacrifice AOC for democracy. Russell Newscom's going to run, I think. And it's all Canada's fault. Yeah, I do think Newscomb is going to run. I wonder if Whitmer's going to run. I really don't want to see that. She is awful. She is awful. Rad, did you watch Caroline press briefing? No, but I do have a clip from it. I can't remember what it's called. We do have a clip. If it would have been a little later in the day, we would have covered it. I don't know. We got so much news. It's coming up. Yeah, it's coming up. We got like 4 or 5 videos before we cover it. Rad, she doesn't look trustworthy? No, I don't think so either. Plus, I think they like their people being old. I don't think they're going to use AOC. How old is AOC? I know she ain't old enough. They like people being prehistoric who are running. What the shit? She's as old as I am. Yeah, they're not going to let her run. You know what? I'm older than her. That's crazy. That is crazy. I'm older than her by like 7 months. 7 months and 2 days. She's grounded. She's like my little sister. I'm going to bully her. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Anyways. What's up, DM? Happy freedom. What's up, Zero? Happy freedom to you. Wayward, I'd love to see JD versus AOC. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. American, yes we can. I was thinking that too. We're Americans, not Americans. But, you know, it's also Canada and not Canada. So, we got it. Ghostly, AOC's my age. It's our age. Bill Clay, great news. My IQ test came back negative. AOC. Oh, I believe it. I believe it. All right, hooligans, let's get into this next one. Like I said, this is a Kid Rock video. It's titled Kid Rock Calls Trump-Hating Mainstream Media Public Enemy Number 1. Now, like I said, they're going to be asking about what his thoughts are for President Trump's first 100 days in office, as well as Kid Rock describing the slimy media. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
Kid Rock joins me now. All right, Kid Rock, before we get to the first 100 days, I got to ask you about this illegal who climbed a tree. Now, from what I understand about trees, there's only one way to get anywhere, and that's down. What do you think was going through his mind?
I'm not sure what was going through his mind, but I mean, did somebody forget their blow dart gun? Isn't this what tasers are for? I grew up in an apple orchard. I could have hit him with a couple apples.
You know, they set up one of those little nets like they do when they take down a bear. You know, boink, he comes down nice and peacefully, and then they cuff him and send him home. I'm glad he's okay. Maybe we would have dealt with him a little bit differently than most people. Your assessment, Kid Rock, of the first 100 days?
Van-frickin-tastic. I mean, I think I heard it said this morning, you know, he is the commander-in-chief, but, I mean, having a businessman in chief. You know, the business of America has been, as we all know, terrible, especially the last 4 years, but really for decades before this. And have somebody come in that's just putting our country first, securing the border. I mean, I call him the dragon slayer for, you know, all this woke DEI stuff that he took out. And, you know, just bringing the real fabric of America back and, you know, patriotism at an all-time high. And our people are joining our military again. I mean, how much time do you got? I could go on and on and on.
Yeah, culturally, he's been on fire. That's for sure. When you see Big Gretch, I think she was your governor. You're a Michigan guy. When she's out there, she's not holding the folder up. She's not trying to hide. She's out there with the commander-in-chief. That signifies something. What does it signify?
I mean, it signifies a lot about our president, you know, that he's willing to give some credit where credit is due. I mean, one of the big things that I just harped on now that I have a platform like yours was, the dinner with Bill Maher at the White House, is arguably his biggest critic. They've been very nasty to each other. And outside of yourselves and, social media and things like this, I thought I could care less about the accolades for me. But I thought this was a really positive thing for our country when we've all been so divided. And not one of the mainstream media, NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, none of them, not one word about it. And I have to imagine that comes from the top. And I've just had enough with the mainstream media at this point. I believe truly they are public enemy number one for our country.
They did it with Saquon. The guy just played a round at Bedminster, took a little jog on the jet back to D.C. for the Eagles celebration, and they were ripping him apart. What does it say that it's controversial for anybody to meet and hang with the president?
I can't figure it out. I mean, I remind people all the time, I played Barack Obama's inauguration. I did not vote for him, but he got elected president. They asked me to be there. I was gracefully. It's just TDS is still prevalent out there. I mean, I think the president needs to sign an executive order for maybe Pfizer or somebody to come up with a cure for TDS and get that on the market.
They'll have the vax mandate for that one, for sure. Where are you right now? Tell me about this new restaurant.
I'm in a little place in Nashville, Tennessee. We just put out today called the Detroit Cowboy, a partnership with my friends who own Joe Muir in Detroit, which is the finest dining establishment since 1929. We open the doors Friday, officially Monday, and our motto is go where you're celebrated, not tolerated.
Oh, I love that. What's the best thing on the menu?
Oh, man, we just got done tasting tonight. I mean, the tomahawk, the bolognese, the Dover sole, the pork chop was incredible. You
had me at tomahawk.
There you go.
Kid Rock, I'll be down there soon. We'll break bread. Thank you. Click here to subscribe to the Fox.
Okay, Kid Rock there giving his opinion on the first 100 days of the Trump administration, as well as calling out the mainstream media. We see Kid Rock all the time. Last time we covered him, I think, is when he was in the Oval Office with President Trump. His outfit was real loud. He had like a leather red, white, and blue outfit on. He was styling. The left didn't really like it. They were complaining because, of course, Zelensky got hazed for not wearing a suit, and they were all mad at Kid Rock. I don't know. He was styling, but either way, next up we have Trump makes Governor Whitmer speak before yesterday's rally. I figured we'll go ahead and cover this. We might as well just cover it really quick. Why not? It's only 39 seconds. But they did show the clip there in that Kid Rock video. Now, well, we'll play that afterwards. Now, she even admits in this video that she did not intend on speaking. The last time we saw Governor Whitmer, she was in the Oval Office with President Trump, covering her face with a folder, pretending like she's embarrassed because she's some radical Democrat or whatever. And if she gets caught being buddy-buddy with President Trump, all her little comrades will turn their back on her. We saw the same thing with Eric Adams, and I think that's what she's worried about. Either way, we're going to cover this really quick, and we'll hop back in the chat. Once again, this is Trump makes Governor Whitmer speak before yesterday's rally here in Michigan.
Well, I hadn't planned to speak, but I'm on behalf of all the military men and women who serve our country and serve so honorably on behalf of the state of Michigan. I am really damn happy we're here to celebrate this recapitalization at Selfridge. It's crucial for the Michigan economy. It's crucial for the men and women here, for our homeland security and our future. So thank you. I'm so grateful that this announcement was made today, and I appreciate all the work. Thank you.
Okay, she's so grateful that the announcement was made. Now, some goofball made this, and you know, why not?
Our country and serve so honorably on behalf of the state of Michigan. I am really damn. I hadn't planned to speak, but I'm on behalf of all the.
Yeah, so they fixed it for her, put her folder back over her face. Thank God, because she looks like Jack Nicholson playing the Joker. She ain't getting any prettier, I'll tell you that. Next up, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney to visit the White House soon, says President Trump. And news, I can't remember who covers this, but whoever this is, they take this opportunity to demonize Trump over tariffs And they call him out for being mean to Biden. But either way, Carney might be coming to visit America. I don't know if the Canadians are going to blame us for that, but whatever's whatever. Either way, right now we're going to hop in the chat, see what you hooligans think about Kid Rock, as well as Governor Whitmer being forced to come out on stage and speak while President Trump was visiting Michigan. Russell, well, Whitmer is doing good now for her state. It's about time. I mean, she's leaving us the hell alone, so at least there's that. But as far as legislation goes, she just passed red flag laws. She's been hurting our Second Amendment back to back because we had that school shooting that happened in Lansing. I don't know why criminals not following laws makes Democrats pass more laws. That just doesn't make any sense, but she's big into that. J Spray, be wary of Whitmer. She's labeled a conservative Democrat. I don't know. I think she's pretty radical. J Spray, she loves damning things. You're right. I was going to say that and I forgot. She was like, yeah, the damn blah, 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 blah. She loves saying that. When she's campaigning, she's always like, we're going to fix the damn roads. Well, get to it. Like, when are you going to do that? She's been governor for 500,000 years and she ain't fixed the roads yet. So I don't know. Hopefully we don't elect her again. We'll see for the midterms. We were going to get Tudor Dixon, two doors Dixon, but she screwed herself on the whole abortion policy. She was saying that she don't care what happens to you. You can't have an abortion in Michigan. That's what screwed her over. Whitmer didn't even put campaign commercials out. She just played Tudor Dixon saying that statement in an interview. And then they were like, Tudor Dixon doesn't care if you get raped. And it was like, oh, shit. I knew she was going to lose when those commercials came out. I was like, oh, damn it. So we'll see how it goes for this midterm, but we got to get rid of Whitmer. She's the worst. And like I said, it ain't just Michiganders' problems like myself. She might be running for president in 2028, and then it'll be everybody's problem. So we got to keep it too big to rig. I know that. Snooks, oh, that's a tomahawk steak? I didn't know what the hell Kid Rock was talking about. Well, you guys are eating tomahawks? Holy. Guessum, that was an awesome voiceover. I try. Thank you, Guessum. Because I can't read that first comment out loud. They'd be knocking on my door and shit. Bro, I didn't say I like Whitmer. Yeah, I know. I know, I wasn't trying to imply that you did say that. Kevin, I think she takes Diesel. She's some hard looking. She's rough. She's rough. Let me see if I can find a picture of her really quick. You can't see it in the video. The video was kind of blurry. But lately, she's been pretty rough looking. Here's a good image here. Let me see if I can get it full size. Yeah, let's do this. Open. No, what the hell did I just do? Okay. So, yeah, this is what she looks like. I swear to God, it's like she's impersonating Jack Nicholson when he was playing the Joker. Look at that face. She looks like she's pushing out a dump. Anyways, just moving forward here. Give you hooligans nightmares. Guess no, we don't need a pick. If I gotta look at her, you guys gotta look at her too. Cyberpunk Grinchen can't run again. It's Nessel going up for the Dems. Interesting. Is there limitations? I wasn't sure if there was limitations. I'm glad she can't run again. Thank God. But I don't know who Nessel is. I'll have to look that up. Bobby, any nudes? I don't know. After looking at her face, I don't want to look at any more of her. Fresca, happy freedom to you. Let's see. I predict they'll back her for president in 2028. Yeah, see, I really don't want to see that. Told to care those potholes is the only action Big Gretch gets. Yeah, you might be right. Cyberpunk, Dana Nessel is the worst. Thank you for letting me know, because I have no idea who's running. I didn't know anything. I don't know if Tudor Dixon is going to run again or not. No worries, Kevin. I'm hearing people talking in the hallway. It's giving me anxiety. What's up, Susan? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Torp? Your governor's so ugly, they passed a bill to ban mirrors in the Capitol. Yeah, I believe it. What's up, Southern Eagleman? Happy freedom. Lisa, you're so mean to that poor old lady. No, she locked us down and killed half the old people in the old folks' home. She locked us down so long that 50% of our economy died from COVID. She was taking business owners that were refusing to close and arresting them and then racking up thousands of dollars in fines, like $40,000, $50,000 in fines. She put out some fucking mandate to charge us $1,200 if we were caught being outside of her house. No, I couldn't be mean enough to that old woman. I can't stand her. I can't stand her at all. She is the worst. She wanted us to die. She would basically come on TV every week and say, I hope you all don't make it. And then she'd go back to her little mansion and all of that and let her husband go on vacation trips and all kinds of shit. She would just unlock the county he was going to hang out in so he could go fishing over the weekend. No, she is terrible. What's up, Gordzilla? Happy freedom. Vinny C. Trump has Whitmer in his back pocket. Well, we'll see how it goes. What's up, Detroit River? Happy freedom. Stretching Gretchen is horrible. You're not wrong. Lee, the roads still suck. They do. They do suck. Happy freedom, Lee. What's up, ACB? Happy freedom to you. Guess Dana Nessel has a Joker face. Yeah, I'm going to have to Google them here in a second. J Spray, our company is still trying to recover. Yeah, they really did. She really did. She killed. It was over 50% of our economy here in Michigan kicked the bucket because of the way she handled the lockdowns. And when they got to the end of the lockdowns, our Supreme Court was like, yeah, almost every mandate she wrote was unconstitutional, and they did away with it. And that was how we came out of the lockdowns. If they wouldn't have done that, we'd probably still be locked down here in Michigan. People were fleeing to Florida like crazy. My feed, keep your enemies close. Yeah. We know Trump does that. Sometimes he'll put them out up front so everyone can watch him fail. Totally care. I hope Trump remembers the snake poem dealing with Gretch. Yeah, exactly. All right, hooligans, we're going to move forward here. Let me see. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney to visit the White House soon, says President Trump. Now, they're going to spend a good portion of this news. This is ABC News, so, it's no surprise here. But they're going to be demonizing Trump through damn near the whole thing. They're going to be talking bad about him because of the tariffs, and they're going to be talking bad about him because he was talking bad about Biden. So they got to stick up for their, Captain Shit Pants and all of that. But either way, apparently Carney is going to come visit President Trump. I don't know what to say about that because the Canadians are mad at Trump, so I don't know what that's going to turn into. But either way, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
Mark Carney, Canada's Prime Minister. Elections were just, 2 days ago. We remember that he ran on an anti-Trump platform. He had a stunning political upset. There's been a lot of talk about the Conservative Party in Canada now in big trouble. The president's saying he's coming to visit next week. What do we know?
Yeah, this is going to be very significant. And of course, many Canadians are deeply upset by President Trump's frequent claims that Canada should be the 51st state. They've also been hammered by the tariffs. And the president also made some other interesting comments when it comes to the impact of the tariffs in his trade war. He was asked about the tariffs on China, and he said that it could mean that maybe the kids will have 2 dolls instead of 30, and that maybe they'll cost a couple bucks more, suggesting that the products being impacted by this aren't really critical for Americans. But the president, in making that statement, is acknowledging that his tariff policy is going to be increasing prices for Americans in this country. This is as economists warn that his trade war, this tariff policy, is going to drive up inflation as well as slow down economic growth, potentially tipping our economy into a recession. And here, the president there in the cabinet room also spent a lot of time talking about former President Biden, laying the blame on President Biden when it comes to the stock market volatility and a True Social post today and blaming former President Biden for the economic numbers as well.
All right, Selena Wang, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay. So, like they said, Carney's supposed to be coming to visit the White House. I'm sure we'll cover that. Either we'll cover it live or we'll find clips of it. It'll be interesting. I also wonder how this whole conspiracy with Canada blaming Trump is going to grow, because I'm sure the conspiracies will swirl as Carney and President Trump meet. Either way, next up we have Robert De Niro's daughter, Erin. Is that what it is? I think it's Erin. I don't know why they can't spell anybody's name. Just simple. It's got to be fucking vowels across the board. Either way, details coming out as trans. Now, I don't know if Robert De Niro had a son or if it is a daughter and they're just saying they're one of the 34 flavors of gay. I'm not sure. But Robert De Niro's got more problems than anybody I know right at this moment. It's coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Carney coming to the White House, as well as them demonizing Trump for nothing. Jay Spray, I'm not that much of a stoner, but I get it. Yeah, when we were in the lockdowns, we went disc golfing and we weren't supposed to. So we would like park our cars on the side of the road, or we'd be parking in front of houses so it looked like we lived at the house, and we'd have backpacks and we'd go sneak into the woods to go play disc golf, and we'd be like getting annihilated because we were doing bad things. We were out there disc golfing against the governor's wishes. We were just getting trashed. I remember like a buddy of ours was like throwing up. He was so drunk. It was a good time though. You know, it reminded me of being a teenager. You're doing naughty things. You're like sneaking out and drinking when you ain't supposed to. I mean, we were all grown, but it didn't feel that way the way we were locked in our house. Guess don't show his son's pic. I'll throw up. Yeah. Snooks, it is his son. Okay, I'm going to change the title here because I'm like, how did his daughter turn trans and it's dressed like a girl? And I don't know. I had a lot of questions, so that clears it up. Thank you for letting me know, Snooks. Bobby, I'm eating Z-Bugs for dinner. I'm not eating the bugs until they make me. And they ain't going to be able to make me. Rappy, I was hoping that Trump would read the snake poem at the rally yesterday, but he didn't. I didn't even think of that. He should have. Ghostly, during the lockdowns, I think I went in public way more than I do now, mostly out of spite. Yeah, Ghostly. Me too. It was like all of a sudden I had all these reasons to leave the house. What's up, Biking Cat? Happy Freedom. Agent O, her name was Sina Wang? I don't know what her name was. I wasn't paying enough attention. Couldn't afford it. Russell never followed any lockdowns. Yeah. I'm trying to think what I had to follow. I didn't really have to follow a whole lot. We had an inspection during the lockdowns, and that was interesting because the management came into the apartments or whatever all masked up and all of that, and I just had myself a nice little chuckle as they wandered through the house. I think they had to change our smoke detectors into carbon dioxide detectors or some multi-detecting thing. I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember being told that I couldn't come within 6 feet of management while they were inside the apartment that I pay for. Either way. Moving forward, this next one, like I said, Robert De Niro's son, I think it's Aaron. Details coming out as a trans lunatic. Now with this jawline, I kind of thought that was a boy, but I wasn't really sure. It belongs to Robert De Niro, which is very strange. Either way, hit that like button if you haven't already. Let's get into this.
Erin De Niro is sharing a glimpse into her world. Robert De Niro and Tukey Smith's 29-year-old daughter reflected on her experience being a late bloomer when it came to coming out as a transgender woman. Erin told Them magazine in an interview published April 29th, "I think a big part of my transition is the influence Black women have had on me. I think stepping into this new identity, while also being more proud of my Blackness, makes me feel closer to them in some way." Although Erin, who began hormone therapy in November 2024, felt closer to her identity, she admitted that she worried about her close relationships. She added, "I think part of me is concerned that my family will maybe still think of me as the person I was before the transition." Indeed, her ultimate role model is her mom, who was in a relationship with a Goodfellas star from 1988 to 1996. Whenever I'm at a family gathering on my dad's side, people would always talk about how much they love my mom and how memorable she was and how happy my dad was when he was with her. I want to be like that. I want to be remembered the way that people remember her. Despite being the daughter of a movie star and model, Erin began paving her own way in the industry. "I wasn't brought up having a side part in one of Dad's movies or going to business meetings or attending premieres. My dad was very big on us finding our own sort of path. I would want success to happen on my own merit." In fact, Tukey and the Oscar winner opted to keep their kids out of the spotlight until they were older. "Obviously, no parent is perfect, but I am grateful that both my parents agreed to keep me out of the limelight. They wanted it very private. They have told me they wanted me to have as much of a normal childhood as possible."
Okay. So Robert De Niro's got more problems than just TDS. This kid's now a shapeshifter radical. That's nice. That's nice. I wonder if they'll be out in the streets burning shit down this summer. We'll be covering it. Next up, a ranch of horror was cartel's operation and training site, says Mexico AG. Now, their attorney general is claiming that they're going to do something about it, but I just don't trust Mexico. I feel like if they were going to do something about the cartel, they would have did it already, but they don't. They don't do anything. So either way, Ranch of Horror, we might as well just get into it, right? Because that last one wasn't exactly news. It was just fuel. If you want to go and roast Robert De Niro on X, I'm sure he's all ears. So let's just get into this. Like I said, this is Ranch of Horror. It was cartel's operation and training site, says Mexico's AG.
This is the so-called Ranch of Horror, a long-standing operation and training site for organized crime, Mexico's Attorney General Alejandro Gertz said on Tuesday.
We have thoroughly proven that it was a recruitment, training, and operation center for the Jalisco New Generation Cartel.
Del Cártel Jalisco Nueva Generación. Esto está probado por...
This is confirmed by confessions, testimonies, and documents. The breadth of this information is absolutely undeniable.
Esa información es absolutamente indudable.
The ranch was discovered in March, along with human remains, piles of clothes, and weapons. Gertz said a large number of warheads, casings, and equipment used to train people were also found at the ranch. Its discovery comes as bloody cartel violence continues to hit Mexico. Jalisco is one of the states with the highest number of reported missing persons, according to official data. Authorities have accused the Jalisco New Generation Cartel of forcibly recruiting young people.
Of course, we will pursue those who have been covering up or participating. The links between those who have covered up, participated, and those we have proven to be using this operations center will inevitably lead to criminal charges. This will happen, obviously.
Last week, gunmen on a motorcycle shot and killed 2 members of a civil search organization that discovered the site. The suspects have not been identified.
Okay, so they suspect the cartel, and there will probably be charges, they said. They found I don't know what you want to call it. It's not an arena. They found property that had human remains and weapons. They know that the cartel is forcing people into recruitment, and there'll probably be charges. Maybe, says their attorney general. I don't know. It seems like they prolong this stuff. Kind of feels like the Epstein stuff. Kind of feels like the mass deportation. Just do the thing. Do the thing. Last time we covered the cartel, they were all worried about the cartel using weaponized drones, as well as the cartel keeping stash houses on the little islands of the Rio Grande. The cartel is considered terrorists. I don't know why we don't just airstrike those people and call it a day. It just seems like be all too damn easy. It reminds me of Tom and Jerry. It's like they want to keep it going. You know, they don't want to just end the fight. They want to keep it rolling. It's good times or something. I don't understand it. And I don't expect Mexico, like I said in the beginning, I don't expect Mexico to do anything about it. If they were going to do anything about it, they would have. So it just feels like they're waiting on us to do something about it, and well, we're not allowed to do anything. So I don't know what's going to happen, but either way, that's the ranch of horror. Next up, we got a video from earlier today. Jack Posobiec asked Caroline Leavitt what the Trump admin is doing to combat the rise in violence from the far, far, far left. This is from the press briefing that happened earlier today. It's coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about this ranch of horror. And not a ranch of horrors. Nope, it's horror. Ah, Russell, you beat me to it. There's a ranch of horrors near Las Vegas called the Bunny Ranch. Very nice, Russell. One day I'll make it to Vegas, I think. I don't know. We'll see. Jay Spray, normal childhood. Yeah, I don't know about Trans De Niro. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Russell, that whole thing is sick. Yeah. Zero, there'll be no charges. They can't pin it on a specific person. Yeah. I don't think they're going to have charges either. What's up, Miss Jamie? Happy Freedom. Air 16, we might charge them. Depends on how much they pay us. Yeah, otherwise they're not getting charged. Cricket Kiss, another party night with the cartels. Exciting. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do anything about it. Yeah, Winston the Trans De Niro. What a shame. Cricket Kiss, another destroyed child. Sick. Yeah, and I wonder what it was like for that kid to grow up, considering all the terrible things we hear about the people from Hollyweird. What's up, Shark? Happy Freedom. Shark, the cartels need to be abolished years ago. Yeah. Yup. Like I'm saying, it seems like they just wanted to continue on. Otherwise, they would do something about it. Detroit River, that's a pretty boy. Yeah, he thinks so. What's up, Cliff? Happy Freedom. Zero De Niro. Yep. Vinny C, I would never think that De Niro would amount to this. It's pathetic. I know. I remember watching Casino and Goodfellas and all that stuff. I didn't know it was going to be like this. All right, hooligans, let's move forward. Like I said, we have a clip from the press briefing from earlier today. It's titled, Jack Posobiec asks Caroline Leavitt what the Trump admin is doing to combat the rise in violence from the far, far left. It's coming up next, but first I want to remind you hooligans really quick, if you'd like to join the membership program over on Rumble, all you have to do is click that big red subscribe button right below where you type in the chat. Now, if you're on Android and using the Rumble app, you're unable to see that big red subscribe button. You got to go to rumble.com, come to the live, hop in the chat, and like I said, right below where you type in the chat, you will see that big red subscribe button. Click that button and jump through the hoops, and your name will be highlighted as an official Rumble hooligan. You'll have access to our custom emojis. We got chapstick emojis, scream and goat emojis, Klaus Daniels emojis, President Trump emojis, and more. It's a lot of fun during the live, especially during a Trump live, so definitely go join the membership program over on Rumble. Let's get this polled up. We got Jack Posobiec, which I don't know if we've ever even covered Jack over here. I follow him on X. I don't know a whole lot about him. A lot of people follow him, though. Either way, like I said, this is a clip from the press briefing from earlier today. Hit the like button over on Rumble as well as the CommiTube, and let's get into this.
Here. So, Jack, great to see you, and why don't you kick us off?
Caroline, thanks so much for having us in today, and I appreciate the administration making yourself available and making it available to us and all of our followers. And I understand that you're going to be continuing these, and I think it's fantastic that really have everybody come in and be able to do this. One of the things that's been troubling me and has actually even affected me over the last 24 hours is the rise of violence that we've seen from elements of the far left. starting with things like Luigi Maggioni, these support for these unhuman organizations like MS-13, Tren de Aragua, and even, of course, the assassination attempts on President Trump, Thomas Matthew Crooks, and Ryan Routh, as well as numerous incidents against anyone who owns a Tesla, apparently. You don't really see the Democrats opposing these things. You see them in many cases either co-signing it or giving a wink and nod to it at the same time that they will be demanding that we follow due process for anyone who actually is a hardened criminal or some of the worst of the worst. What is the administration doing, DOJ-wise or FBI-wise, to combat this rise in violence that we're seeing?
It's a great question, Jack, and I absolutely agree with the premise of your question, which I usually don't when I take questions at a podium. But certainly you're right. We have seen a rise in political violence that stems from the left, dating back to the Black Lives Matter movement, which the left and the Democrats don't want to talk about much, but they burned down American cities. And the Biden administration did nothing to prosecute those who created that violence, oftentimes not just destroying businesses, but also lives and communities as well. You look at the rise of violence against the president himself and his supporters. You had 2 heinous assassination attempts from leftist lunatics, and the president is lucky and blessed to be here today because he was able to survive that political violence and those assassination attempts. Look at the recent attacks on Tesla, on Elon Musk's company. It's quite ironic because Democrats and leftists were the greatest fans of Tesla. Many Democrats drive Teslas to this very day, but then it's that their same party who is doing nothing to stop or condemn or discourage this violence from taking place. And in many cases, Democrat elected officials are actually inciting it and encouraging it. But that's not going to be allowed to happen anymore. The Attorney General was just in the cabinet room with the president and made it very clear to anyone who is inciting violence or participating in violence, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And no longer do we have a Justice Department that chooses prosecutions based on one's political affiliation. If you break the law, you will be held accountable for that. And I think we are truly restoring a fair and equal justice system in this country. The Attorney General spoke earlier about how there have been several cases brought against those who have perpetrated this political violence against Tesla, which is a great American-made company. And we need to see more people on the other side of the aisle stepping out to discourage this violence. But I don't think we will hold our breath. We won't wait for them. The president is leading by example. And I think the restoration of justice we've seen at the DOJ under the leadership of Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, who's doing an incredible job as the FBI director, is a testament to that. Here, so.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Hopefully they will actually do something about lefties out here burning shit down in the streets, because like I said, we are going to have a spicy summer. I just don't see any way around it. What I don't understand is why are they using the stage that Biden was using to pretend to take the COVID vaccines? Because that's what that is. And we seen, I don't know if it's Caroline Leavitt or Nancy Mace, somebody, they took pictures being on this fake stage that the Biden administration was using. Now, this is supposedly a press briefing, but you could see when they cut to Jack Posobiec, half the seats are empty. Now, when we see the regular press briefing, the entire room is full. It's like overflowing. There's so many people, but they're not in the press room. They're in the fake room. And I don't know why. I don't know. Just something weird that I noticed. Either way, hopefully they actually do something about the lefties. Now, back in 2020, President Trump wanted to do stuff to, combat BLM burning down the cities, but the mayors and the governors didn't want him to interfere, and it was up to them to call on the federal government for National Guard and stuff like that, but they didn't want to. They claimed it was peaceful protesting, and that's why. And I remember when we were coming to the election, this last presidential election, there was a lot of people saying they didn't want to vote for Trump because it would cause riots in the streets again, as if it was Trump's fault that BLMers were burning everything down. And their reasoning was that he didn't do anything about it. He let them do that. But that's not true. He tried to help, but he can't interfere with what states have going on, right? It's the whole reason we have local government and all of that. But if local government doesn't want federals to come into the state and interfere with what they have going on, then they're not supposed to. Now, if he would have forced the National Guard to come in and clean up the streets and stuff, they'd be calling him a dictator and shit like they already do, right? Calling him a Nazi, calling him Hitler and stuff like that, threat to democracy, so on and so forth. So it's kind of a paradox where you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, and it ain't even Trump's fault that the BLMers were doing it. Now, with what Caroline Leavitt is saying, is kind of making claims that if they go out there and they try that shit again, that they will be held accountable. But we'll see. We haven't seen any of the Epstein clients being arrested. We've, struggling with the mass deportation. Cartel is still live and doing well. So I don't know. We'll have to just wait and see. But at least we know what's going on. We can stay aware and we could stay ready for anything that's going to happen, regardless of what the politics say in life. Next up, we got 3 different clips from the ABC interview yesterday with President Trump. First one's titled, President Trump explains why he revoked Joe Biden's security clearance. The second video is titled, Trump, he had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed, which the left is using that video to claim that President Trump has mental decline. And then our third video is titled, Trump tells ABC to their face that they are fake news and they are the worst. All of that is coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Caroline Leavitt. Jay Spray, I'm not going to read that out loud, but yeah. What's up, Simply Witchy? Happy freedom to you. Total Care, it's a small auditorium, much nicer theater type seating. The seating does look nicer. So all those guys look like podcasters? They are. Jack Posobiec is on X, and he like lives on X. I'm surprised he wasn't the first thing that popped up. Gunther was. He's all over X too. Let me see. I'm sure Jack shared all this stuff. He's constantly posting. And like I said, I follow him. I've been following him for a while. 3 million subscribers, no, 3 million followers over on X. This is Jack Posobiec, or Jack Poso for short, because his name is hard as shit to say. This wasn't necessarily going to go on the schedule, but we could play it really quick. He attended a Jamie Ratsack Skin rally. We'll play this full screen so you can see it. Jamie Ratsack Skin is the worst. He is the worst. I can't stand this guy. We had to cover him during the J6 insurrection hearing that they did while they were trying to impeach President Trump and all of that. Of course, it didn't work. But Ratsack Skin was crying really hard. He was rocking a bandana because he had cancer or something. Apparently, he beat it, and that's good and all. But either way, this little video we're going to play really quick is Jack Posobiec attending this rally with this Democrat radical, and he gets assaulted while attending it.
The right to organize unions. Yeah. For redress agreements, we're going to defend the right to assemble. Yeah. We know with Dr. King that the greatness of America is the right to protest for what is right. Against lawbreakers who take office. And that's where we are today. I'll leave you with my friends with the words of the great Marylander Frederick Douglass.
Jamie, why did you lose the popular vote? Why did you lose every single swing state? Why did you lose? Get off me. Jamie, look at this. Why did, let me talk. Let me talk. Let me talk. It's not fake. Look at this. 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 They're assaulting me, you motherfucker. Why'd you leave? Back it up. Can I get my phone? No. Back up. Back up. USA! Woo!
Okay, so that was Jack Posobiec attending Jamie Ratsack Skin's little rally he had going on there. He was obviously assaulted, and all of that. And that's why he asked Caroline Leavitt, what are we going to do about the rise of violence that the left is committing? So now we're full circle. Now everybody knows. Russell, oh my God, tons of butt hurt. Yeah, they stay butt hurt. Yep. Cricket Kiss, right to peacefully protest thing went to shit fast. Yeah, it always does. What's up, Trop? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Tony Riz? Happy freedom to you. Stunner, it's not that far left. It's the average left. Yeah, it is. Left-leaning at all is radicalism. Biking Cat, Mexico is fighting globalists just like the U.S. Why is the U.S. not fixing gang violence in big cities? I don't ever hear anything about gang violence in big cities. The Crips have been almost eliminated ever since they smoked their leader. Their leader was in prison forever, and they were trying to bring the leader of the Crips out to make peace and have a truce with the Bloods to stop the killing. But instead of doing that, they just put him to death. And that pretty much eliminated the Crips. The Crip movement is very small. So now most of everything is Bloods. And there's Latin Kings, there's GDs, there's Vice Lords, there's lots of different little gangs. But you don't really hear any of that kind of stuff because most people are in the same gang. Most of the violence is just people being violent and even gang stuff going on. And when you got things like BLM and these pro-Hamas protesters, that's a gang too. I mean, it's just as much of a gang as Boogaloo Boys or any of these people. As soon as they make a claim that they're this label and everybody joins their label, they're pretty much a gang. So, I mean, it's not like we have mass gangs raping the streets and stuff. I mean, I look for news every single day and I don't see any of that shit. Even like MS-13 and Tren de Aragua, very seldomly do you see them group up and actually do stuff. Most of the time it's just a little straggler here and there. It's not like the cartel where they show up with a truck. It's got 8 people in it. They all have rifles and they're forcing, innocent people into the car for human trafficking or, raping kids and stuff like that. It's not even really comparable. Miss Jamie, all they do is trash talk Trump. They have no solution to anything. TDS is a hell of a drug. Yeah, they're suffering. Vinny C. Detroit's full of 7 Mile Bloods. Yeah, there's lots of different Bloods. And even the Bloods will fight each other because it's just stupid labels at this point. Way where the cartel isn't going anywhere unless our military goes in and wipes them out. Yeah, I mean, that's that. Jay Spray, they're lucky that we don't answer violence with violence. Yeah, you're right. That's the weird thing about the left. They want everyone to lose their guns, but then they become violent. So it's like, okay, let's have the most unarmed, out of shape, drug addicted, alcohol, gay people be the most violent people in the country. The softest people are always the ones screaming the loudest. It just makes no sense. You're right, Jay Spray. If the right ever wanted to fight against the left, it'd take about a day. And then it'd be the one party. That'd be it. Oh, I hope you stick with us, Pumpkin. Darn internet. Sledog, having problems with the player. Yeah, I had to change the player on the website because we kept having problems with the Rumble player. I don't know what's going on with Rumble. I wrote Rick, but he never wrote me back. Biking Cat. Trump has been messing up the gangs. They talk about it in the streets of Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta's got a lot of gangs. But the gang activity is minimal compared to like the illegals and stuff. I mean, it doesn't make it any better, right? Crime is crime. Nobody wants to be the victim of crime. But the illegals are such a big problem right now. We don't even hear about local gangs. I'd love to be a part of the White House press. They will not write me back. I put that application in for their special seat in the press briefings. They never wrote me back. I applied for a White House press pass because we saw Corinne is in there, and I don't know what makes her so damn special to be in there. I mean, she, is good at what she does or whatever, but what does she do that I don't do? And so I applied for that. No response. I don't know what it is. I had to put my address and everything else down just to send them an email. Never wrote me back. So I don't know. I don't know why, but it seems like they don't want us to be a part of the press at the White House. Jay Spray, the people on the left don't understand that they are the ones that they want gone. Yeah, Jay Spray, you are absolutely right. Bill Clay, Tim Pool got a press pass. Yeah, he was the special press person of the day. We covered that day. Freely Texan got to send it more than once. I don't want them to retaliate against me. I don't want them to think that it's like malicious emails or like I'm spamming them or something weird like that. Meta, be careful now. If you smoke the cartels, the Dems will be screaming they didn't get due process. Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong. All right, hooligans. Like I said, we got 3 videos that are from the ABC interview that happened yesterday. Now, I don't know if the interview happened yesterday or if it was released yesterday because supposedly ABC was interviewing President Trump. Some people were saying it was at the White House. I can't really remember what the video looks like at this point. But I want to say that President Trump was still in Michigan when this interview came out, so it must have been just released yesterday. But either way, we're going to play these 3 videos back to back. Let me get them pulled up really quick, and I'll give you guys the titles. And like I said earlier, one of these videos the left is using to try and say that President Trump is on the mental decline when he was talking about the MS-13 gang members' tattoos and all of that. But either way, this first one here is titled President Trump explains why he revoked Joe Biden's security clearance. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
Biden did something to me, and I did something to Biden. And you know why I did it? Because he's grossly incompetent. That's not a man that should be allowed to, be looking at things that are very confidential.
But what about
because he didn't?
71
Here's a man that used an auto pen to sign very important documents. Now, who really is? Do you think he knew that they were using an auto pen? I mean, he used an auto pen to sign very, very important documents, and so those are really the questions you should be asking. What do you think of the auto pen? Who wielded the auto pen? Because whoever that person was, think of it. Whoever the person that wielded the auto pen, he was really the president of the United States. Because I don't think that Biden knew anything about it. Biden did something.
Okay, President Trump talking about taking away Joe Biden's security clearance and then also roasting him on the whole auto pen thing, which they should do something about that. If some rando was signing executive orders or anything like that, should be void. Shouldn't be a thing. Either way, we're going to get into the second clip we got here. This is titled, He Had MS-13 on His Knuckles Tattooed. Now, I don't know if this is a phrasing situation or what. President Trump seems to be under the influence that it literally said MS-13 on his knuckles. That's not what it was. It was a pot leaf, a smiley face, a cross, and a skull. People have said that this is symbolism for MS-13, but that's not what President Trump says in the interview here. So like I said, the left is using this clip to claim that President Trump has mental decline.
He wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
He had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry. Terry.
He did not have the letter MS13.
It says MS13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshop, Terry. You can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry. But you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture. We'll
and you think it was Photoshop? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't
Take a look
there,
at the
but
photograph.
they're there now, right?
No,
but
they're in
now.
your picture.
Terry.
Ukraine, sir.
He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
All right. Well, we'll take a look at that.
You do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at
Why
that,
don't you
sir.
just say, yes, he does, and, go on to something else?
It's contested.
Okay, so this is the tattoo that they are talking about. We'll put it on full screen. You could see those are the images. Now it's been translated to mean MS-13, right? The marijuana leaf is M, the smiley face is S, the cross is representing a 1, and the right side of the skull would be representing a 3, right? Looping around from the top of the head to below the eye, from the below the eye to the bottom of the jaw would be a 13, right? People are saying that's what it is, that those tattoos are representing MS-13. But as President Trump was saying, he was kind of under the impression that it just straight up is MS-13 on his knuckles. Obviously, that's not the case. So like I said, the left is using this as an instance, or an example, of President Trump's mental decline. I think that maybe President Trump maybe got confused about the situation. Maybe he was just ill-informed. Maybe Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, maybe they just, the way they stated the information to him, or anybody in the White House stated the information to him, maybe he was just under the impression that it literally said MS-13 on his hands. Obviously it doesn't, but either way, the left is now going ham with that clip right there. We got one more from the ABC interview yesterday. This last one is titled, Trump tells ABC to their face that they are fake news and the worst.
Do you think the reputation of the United States has gone down under your presidency?
No, I think it's gone way up, and I think we're a respected country again. We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across a stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst, I have to be honest with you.
Thank you. Do you think the...
Just let them have it. Now, I think that the little disagreement they were having over the tattoos probably led to that kind of malicious behavior at the end there, where he was like, yeah, well, big fuck you, buddy. That's pretty much what he was doing. Seemed like President Trump had enough. Either way, that's the interview with ABC from yesterday. Next up, we got Senator Kennedy. This is titled, Game Room in the Mental Hospital. Senator Kennedy fillets Dems on their state of their party. Now, this is John Kennedy describing how terrible the left is. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what your hooligans think about that ABC interview. Guess some, punch him. Let's let him have it. Russell, Biden has severe dementia. Yeah, it's not even comparable. Not at all. Fresca Bean, Trump held up the photo in the Oval Office. Oh, yeah, I remember that. So, yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess he could have known better. Fresca Bean, do you think they didn't explain to Trump that the Photoshop was above the tattoos on the photo Trump held up in the office? Maybe. Maybe that's what it was. That's what I was saying. Maybe there's some confusion somewhere in there. Ghostly, how do we know it's not a fake pic? Well, I mean, it could be, but it would take a lot of effort to fake it because it's been pointed out in so many different ways. They have family photos of Garcia with his wife and their kids. He's like holding the kid. You can see the tattoos on his hands. They got Garcia standing with Senator Dumbass when they wanted that one-on-one interview after he had already been deported to CWH in El Salvador. He's standing there with Senator Dumbass. You can see his hand by his side, again, showing the same exact tattoos. So there's a lot of different instances of these tattoos being captured and screenshotted and whatnot. And I mean, maybe all those photos are fake, but I've never come across a photo of Garcia that didn't have those tattoos on display. And I think it would take a lot of effort to just overwhelm the internet with so many photoshopped photos that you just can't find one that doesn't have the tattoos. I've never seen his hands without the tattoos on it. Now, I don't know what his other hand says, but it always seems to be from that one side. It is his left hand, I believe it is. But I mean, I don't know. And the thing is like I'm willing to be open to interpretation, right? Maybe his hand tattoos don't actually mean MS-13, right? I got letters all over my hands. People question me all the time, what does my letters mean, right? Like they think this stands for Michigan. It don't, but everywhere I go, people are like, oh, I like your Michigan tattoo. I'm like, yeah, what's these other ones? They're like, oh, is those states you've been to? No, it doesn't even make sense. These letters are not abbreviations for states. So like I said, I'm open to interpretation. I'm not 100% convinced that's an MS-13 tattoo. I don't know. But what I do know is he's a woman beating illegal who's been deported. That's all that matters to me. He shouldn't have been here. He's not here anymore. He's from El Salvador. He was deported back to El Salvador. Now, if he's not an MS-13 gang member, then he shouldn't be in CWH. But that's up to El Salvador. He's an El Salvador citizen in the country of El Salvador, and it's up to them how they're going to handle it. Either they can let him out and he can just stay in El Salvador, or they can keep him inside CWH, but no matter what, he will never come back here. And so that's all that matters to me. I don't know if he's MS-13 or not. And like I said, I'm open to interpretation. I'm not sure why President Trump was confused about the situation, though. For the Texan reporter sure wanted to change that question fast. Yeah, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if President Trump was maybe mistaken on the tattoos and the reporter wanted to move past it instead of trying to call him out as being wrong, because President Trump doesn't like to be called out like that. I don't know. I don't know. Totally care. Trump is a busy man. He's not infallible, but he stands behind what he believes. Yeah, totally care. Ghostly, yeah, it is the sounds of music. Winston, XX-eyed smiley faces are often found at murder scenes in graffiti or blood. Yeah, Winston. I'm not saying it's not MS-13 tattoos. I'm saying that I don't know. I personally do not know anybody that's MS-13. I don't have anybody to go, yeah, those symbols in that order means MS-13. I've only seen the internet saying that shit. So like I said, I'm open to interpretation, but he's a bad person who was deported, and, well, that's all that matters to me. Meta, if that's the worst thing that Trump makes a mistake about, I'll give him a pass. Yeah, Meta, that's what I'm saying too. It doesn't make me feel any kind of way. I don't care if President Trump is dead ass wrong about those tattoos. So what? So what? Talking about tattoos some other man has on his hands. I don't give a shit. He's already deported. So, you know. Biking Cat, I wish he would have shown the picture. Someone advising Trump needs to be fired. Yeah, I do wonder how the information was passed. Jeff Reynolds, dude was associated with that gang anyway. Yeah. He was pulled over in suspicion of human trafficking, and they said everybody else in the vehicle was MS-13. I think when he was arrested outside of Home Depot looking for contractor work, he was also associating with MS-13 gang members. So, like I said, I'm not saying anybody's wrong. I'm not saying anybody's wrong. I don't know, right? I don't know that he's MS-13. But everything else is there. The other thing is that I haven't found a video on, but the information's out. People got a hold of the police report that Garcia's wife filed against him because he beat her, and then she put a personal protection order against him, a PPO. People got a hold of those court documents, and it shows his wife's handwriting saying that she's afraid for her children because her boyfriend is a gang member. And so now they're using that as more validation that Garcia is MS-13. So, yeah, we'll put that out there. If I can find a video on it, we'll play it. But right now, it's just kind of this police report that's floating around. I would like a little bit more validation than just grabbing this random screenshot and just being like, here we go. With the MS-13 tattoos, like I said, there's a ton of those images out. I'm inclined to believe he really does have those tattoos. What they mean, I don't know. But if I can find a video, like I said, on the police report claiming that Garcia is a gang member that was filed by his wife at the time, we'll cover it. But yeah, that's a thing too. ACB, the raid in Colorado Springs was wild. Yeah, I think we covered it either yesterday. What was today? Wednesday? It was either yesterday or the day before we covered it. There was like 900 arrests of illegals over the weekend. There was a raid in Florida with 800 people and a raid in Colorado with 100 people, I think it was. Shark, Trump is doing a million things. I get confused by Les. The interviewer should have had a photo in his hand. Yeah, I mean, if he wanted to argue about it, yeah, he should have had a picture or something. Or he could have pulled his phone out. You know, could have pulled his phone out. It took me 2 seconds to find it on the internet. Larry, have you heard about the RGE mineral deal? No, I don't know what RGE is. I know that the Ukraine is ready to do a mineral deal. I don't know about Russia, though. And they were saying that last Thursday they were supposed to sign a mineral deal with Russia and Ukraine, and then it just never happened. So today there was a bunch of articles that I passed up because woulda, coulda, shoulda isn't good enough for the schedule. And so they were saying that Ukraine is ready to sign a mineral deal with the U.S., but Zelensky should have been ready to sign that deal before he got thrown out of the White House. So if they decide to do that, of course, we'll cover it. But right now, it's just kind of speculation. Wayward, we don't have real gangs in Cincinnati, but the cartel's been here since the early 2000s. Yeah, I think we have a lot of cartel in the country. Here, Juicer, what does your hand say? Hooligan. Oh, okay. I don't pay any attention to soccer. Damn it. Yeah, Juicer. Yeah, that happens. It's better that than the other. Hooligan used to mean something different in Europe, but that ain't us. Russell, Ukraine just signed a deal. Wait a minute. Just signed delivering the U.S. mineral rights. Interesting, Russell. I didn't see that they actually signed it today. Josh 1776, that's not what it said. It was her ex-husband, the father of the children, who made the statement. Interesting. Yeah, like I said, once they validate that police report, we'll actually cover it. All right, hooligans, we'll go ahead and move forward here because we still got like 5 more pieces of news before we get into the fun stuff. I told you guys we had a ton of news today. This next one is game room in a mental hospital. Senator Kennedy fillets Dems on the state of the party. And it's going to go exactly what it sounds like. John Kennedy right here telling us how terrible the left is. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the Commie Tube, and let's get into this.
First, joining us now with his thoughts on President Trump's momentous 100 days is Louisiana Senator John Kennedy. You know, Senator, as I reflect back on this 100 days, as I watch tonight's rally with the president in Michigan, there really is only one Donald Trump. You know, I remember after Reagan was president, you know, Republicans tried to sound like Reagan. They used the same words as Reagan, but they weren't Reagan. And I think we're seeing a moment in history where you have a guy that really is disrupting that place that you work in Washington, D.C. It is shock and awe. He's iconoclastic, and he's looking at everything anew. And I like all of what he's doing. What are your thoughts?
Well, let me start with my Democratic colleagues. A charitable interpretation of the behavior of the Democratic Party may exist, but I can't think of one. I think most fair-minded Americans think today's Democratic Party looks like the game room in a mental hospital. It's exquisitely shambolic. The only thing the Democrats contribute to the discussion is just a bunch of rabid barking. Many Democrats still drink their caramel frappuccinos and they carry their NPR tote bags, but their ideas are either non-existent or they're shallow, and their passions are immature. The Democratic Party today is not defined by its principles. It's defined by one thing. It's hatred of President Trump, even when he's right. For example, in the first 100 days, President Trump secured the border. The Democrats were opposed. In his first 100 days, President Trump got rid of racial quotas. The Democratic Party was opposed. In his first 100 days, President Trump started deregulating the economy. You mentioned it, Sean, getting rid of rules and regulations. The Democrats were opposed and are opposed. The president began the process, he and Mr. Musk, of scrubbing the budget, getting rid of the spending porn. The Democrats were opposed. The president, in his first 100 days, has backed Israel. He stood up to China. He stood up to Iran. The Democrats are opposed. And the final point I would make that I haven't heard anybody talk about it today is Europe. President Trump has changed Europe. The Democrats were opposed. We both know, Sean, that President Trump, he exists loudly. And his loud existence has awakened the Europeans from their slumber with respect to their economic model and their national defense. The Europeans are 9 times richer than the Russians. Why should Americans have to pay for their national defense? And the president has demanded a change there. I don't mean to be unkind, but you know, I would rather watch reruns of The View for the rest of eternity than to listen to some of my Democratic colleagues. And I think I'm pretty tolerant.
You mean you don't like the sing-alongs and the slogans and the performative art? You're not a big supporter of the bingo paddles. You know what's amazing? I watched them. There's been no introspection, no change of course on their part. They still champion men's rights to play women's sports. They were even standing up for MS-13 gang members and Tren de Aragua gang members and their so-called rights over the safety of Americans. They think it's a constitutional crisis if you cut out waste, fraud, and abuse and corruption. And then they wouldn't stand for mothers that lost their children at the joint session. That spoke volumes to me. They wouldn't stand for a young man that beat cancer or the wife of a slain hero. It's now the party of AOC and, you know, Grandpa Bernie and the squad and, Jasmine Crockett. Those seem to be the emerging leaders. Your thoughts on them?
Well, I think Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez is the leader of the Democratic Party today. Some might say Senator Schumer, but
Schumer's at a 17% approval rating today. 17. Democrats are in the 20s.
Yeah. I think it's Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. And as I've said before, she's entitled to her opinions. My personal opinion is that God gave her a billy goat brain and a mockingbird mouth. I mean, look, I believe in the power of ideas, and my Democratic colleagues have no ideas. All they have is hatred for one man, even when he's right. And that's President Trump. And I don't think that's healthy for them. I don't think that's healthy for America.
Oh, I agree. You're probably the most quotable senator in Washington, and that's a compliment. Senator Kennedy.
It's a low bar. It's a low bar, Sean. It's a very low bar.
That's probably true, too, actually. Senator, appreciate you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
All right, John Kennedy there. Trying to make sense of things while tearing up the left, because they're just the terrible left. Next up, we have a follow-up video titled Wisconsin Supreme Court Suspends Judge Accused of Helping Border Crosser Evade ICE. Like I said, this is a follow-up video. We covered this when it happened. We're just going to get right into this. I'd like to actually eat food today. I haven't been able to eat real food all week. We'll see. I got 33 minutes to make it to the grocery store. Anyways, this is, like I said, a follow-up video. Now, what's weird in this video is they claim that she was permanently suspended as a judge. And then 5 seconds later, they turn around and say that she was suspended temporarily. So I don't know if she's actually permanently suspended or temporarily suspended, and I don't think they know either. But either way, there's a follow-up on the judge that was trying to help an illegal evade ICE. Once again, this is titled Wisconsin. I was going to say West Side. Wisconsin Supreme Court suspends judge accused of helping border crosser evade ICE.
We do welcome you back in because we do want to get to some breaking news here. Fox 6's Jason Calvi in Milwaukee saying the Wisconsin Supreme Court has suspended Judge Hannah Dugan after the FBI arrested her on allegations that she interfered with federal immigration enforcement. Fox 6 bringing us the latest details. Here's their latest reporting.
The Supreme Court of Wisconsin issued this notice Tuesday, suspending Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan indefinitely.
I think this is an indication that the Supreme Court takes this seriously and thinks it should not have happened.
In the order, the Supreme Court wrote in part, it is in the public interest that she be temporarily relieved of her official duties. UWM Professor Emeritus Mordecai Lee says the Supreme Court is using its governing power over the judicial branch.
I think we're all sort of surprised by this because we're not used to these kinds of unusual cases. Every once in a while, the state Supreme Court has to step in and has to discipline a judge.
Friday, the FBI arrested Dugan on 2 federal charges. She's accused of helping Eduardo Flores Ruiz, a Mexican national, appearing in her courtroom, hide from ICE agents. Dugan's legal defense team now includes nationally known conservative Paul Clement, who was raised in Cedarburg. In a statement responding to the suspension, her legal team says in part that the court acted in unilateral fashion. We continue to assert Judge Dugan's innocence and look forward to her vindication in court.
It seems to me that the decision that came today comes not based on I'm a de facto Republican or I'm a de facto Democrat. It was, what is the proper behavior of a circuit judge? What are the ethical guidelines for a circuit judge?
Fox 6 Milwaukee bringing us the latest reporting. For some backstory, the FBI arrested Dugan last week, and a retired judge is already taking on her cases. She faces federal charges of concealing an individual to prevent his discovery and arrest and obstructing or impeding a proceeding. Federal prosecutors say that Dugan helped Eduardo Flores Ruiz, a Mexican national charged in connection to a March flight, avoid U.S. Immigration and Customs agents at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. What's next, you might ask? Well, prosecutors said that they intend to present the allegations against Dugan to a grand jury. Her preliminary hearing is set for May 15th. Again, the news of the night is that the Wisconsin Supreme Court on Tuesday is suspending Hannah Dugan. She's the Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge who was accused of helping a man avoid immigration enforcement at a courthouse. We'll keep you posted on this story as more details come through the news wires.
Okay, so that's our follow-up there on Judge Dugan. Like they were saying, helped a border crosser escape the courthouse to evade ICE, but it didn't work out. They were captured. She's being charged with federal crimes, but will she actually be convicted? It's great and all, somebody, make a phone call, point a finger at you, and you go to jail. That doesn't necessarily mean the stuff is going to stick. They need to hold these judges accountable. We're already not hearing of the other judge. I can't remember if he's from Texas or somewhere. I can't remember. His male judge had Trende Aragua, member. He was renting a guest house to. Was also providing firearms and allowing him to shoot those guns on his property. And he's already out of the news. They don't even talk about him anymore. Supposedly, he's been barred. He's not able to be a judge anymore. I think he's also facing obstruction charges and stuff like that. But we'll see if they actually get convicted. Because like I said, yeah, them bringing charges is great and all, but if they don't sentence them to those charges, then it's just a bunch of nothing. Might as well be smoking mirrors. Next up, we got kind of a follow-up video. We had that guy from Michigan, some representative, who keeps telling everyone that we need to impeach Trump, right? He's, I don't know if he's Indian or Afghanistani. I don't know what he is. But I know when I put the video on the screen, you guys are going to know who I'm talking about. Whatever his name is, Shri Tandar or whatever it is. I got a video from 6 years ago, and you're like, why? This is why. It's titled, Candidate for Governor Shri Tandar says allegations of animal abuse is used as a smear campaign. But he was in charge of some lab that it was doing testing on animals, and I guess it wasn't real great. And so all of this information is circulating now that he caused such a big fuss, claiming that we need to impeach President Trump. So we got this follow-up video coming up next. First, we're going to hop in the chat, see what you hooligans think about Senator Kennedy, as well as the follow-up video on this judge. Yeah, I guess I'm the Quickie Mart guy. Yeah, I don't have any nice way to describe this guy. Jay Spray, domestic terrorist? Yes. Absolutely, Josh 1776. Guess like I said, remove all qualified immunity from judges. Yeah, they know the law better than anybody, so if they break the law, they should get a stiff punishment. Russell, she needs to be disbarred in jail time at a minimum? I think so too. Russell, the mineral things on Fox. Yeah, we'll cover it tomorrow. It happened while we were live. Otherwise, I would have put it on the schedule. My feed, she should be disbarred. Absolutely. Winston Dugan is still upset about the house landing on her sister. Yeah, I didn't realize, but you know what? I think you're onto something. Cricket Kiss, you said the same thing that Jay Spray said on the website. You guys are hilarious. Meta, if that judge doesn't get punishment, I helped the criminal escape because I thought he was in danger of ICE. Yeah. I don't know how she could escape punishment. Technically, she shouldn't be able to. She committed the crime. She broke the law. She should be held accountable. But we'll see if she gets special treatment. Thank you for being here, Viola. What's up, Jay Muzu? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Mayors? Happy freedom to you. Wayward, you should try Amazon Fresh if they offer it in your area. I found a lot of food cheaper. I'll have to check it out. I've never heard of that. I was doing these factor meals where they send you like food trays in the mail or whatever. And it's supposed to be like chef prepared and all of that. I loved it, but I couldn't afford it. And I almost bankrupted myself, and I didn't realize that I wasn't paying enough attention. And so now I've been eating food from Wesco like every damn day because of the way the time is. Grocery store closes at 8. Like I said, I got 25 minutes to get to the grocery store, or I will be eating gas station food again. Got to figure something out. Anyways, let's go ahead and move forward here. Like I said, this next video has to do with Shri Tandar or Tanadar. I don't know how the hell you say this guy's name. I'm telling you, as soon as I put him on the screen, you're going to know who I'm talking about. Talking about this guy. This guy right here. This is Shri Tandar. He's some representative here in Michigan, which I just learned yesterday. This video is from 6 years ago, but it is circulating the internet right now. Like I said multiple times, this guy keeps screaming, we need to impeach Trump, so everybody's digging in his business. So this video is titled, Candidate for Governor Shri Tandar says allegations of animal abuse is used as a smear campaign. I don't know about all of that. Seemed like he's doing Fauci stuff. Either way, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
We have new information now on one of the leading Democratic candidates for governor here in Michigan. Shri Tandar is responding to new reports regarding a company he owned 8 years ago that's now bankrupt. The allegations involved mistreatment of 170 dogs and monkeys used for testing of new drugs. The company, Anaclin Preclinical Services, used the animals to test drugs prior to FDA approval. Tandar told 7 Action News last week that the testing was for side effects and that the animals would get higher blood pressure and some rash. Tandar says the animals were not abandoned. He says they were fed and cared for by staff. But he also claims his attorneys went to court with a motion to have those animals sold as assets to lower his company's debt. Tandar told 7 Action News investigator Jim Kirchner today that his attorneys filed a motion to make a point and that the motion was withdrawn a short time later. Asked why he didn't mention this during his interview last week, Tandar responded, "It was not at the top of my mind." He also says opponents are using this issue as a smear campaign in the race for Michigan governor.
Okay, so he claims, the animals that were being tested on in a lab, they weren't being mistreated. They weren't a thing. Well, they were a thing, but we sold it off to another company because we had debt because we ain't doing shit that's worthwhile. And then they're saying, why didn't you bring that up when you were running for governor? It was top of ass. I didn't think about it. Oh, okay. So anyways, this is the guy that's calling for impeachment of President Trump. And like I said, that video is circulating, or the information itself is circulating. I went and found that video. Like I said, 6 years ago, you got to make good choices. Shit come back to haunt you. Either way, next up we have Columbia student released from jail after judge order. This is a pro-Hamas activist. This guy is buddies with Mahmoud Khalil. He was just arrested, I want to say like last week we covered it. But the judge is ordering that he is released. Let's just go ahead and get into this. This isn't a very long video. Of course, this guy, he thinks he's somebody special now that this judge stood up for him. So he's going to be acting like an asshole. So you can go ahead and expect that. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and let's get into this.
And I am saying it clear and loud.
Yes.
To President Trump and his cabinet.
Yes.
I am not afraid of you. What did they do to me? What did they do to me? They arrested me. What's the reason? Because I raised my voice and I said no to war, yes to peace. Because I said enough is enough. Killing more than 50,000 Palestinians is more than enough.
Enough! 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 Enough!
Come on. Enough! Destroying a whole population. 2/3 of the 50,000 are children and women. Witnessing a genocide unfolding in front of our eyes. They wanted us to be silent, to continue to be silent. They wanted us to not be humans. Shame on them.
Okay, so like I'm saying, this guy, he really thinks he did something. He's a pro-Hamas activist, and like I said, he is buddies with Mahmoud Khalil, who is still being held in Louisiana. As far as I know, he's waiting for his trial in New Jersey to talk about how he lied on his visa. He's pretty much already got his green card revoked because he sympathizes with terrorism. And he has connections to a foreign government, or at least that's what they're saying. They're claiming. But he did factually lie on his visa, so, you know, that's enough. Just waiting for that to happen. For him to go through that, he'll be deported. I just don't see a way around it. Now, I don't know how this activist got released by a judge, and it's really annoying to see judges stand in the way of the Trump agenda. But as of right now, the left feels that they have won. Next up, we got the last little bit of the news. This is Lefties Losing It. This one's titled Joy Reid is Hysterically Illiterate. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat. See what you hooligans think about this pro-Hamas activist being released from jail. Guess well, he pissed me off. Yeah, being smart about it, trying to be a smart ass. Hair juicers sell them as assets. Who's going to pay for 170 abused dogs? Fauci. Fauci would. Jay Spray, do you have the daily deals up there? I just got 10 pounds of steak burger for $34. No, I've never even heard of that. Jay Spray, I'll have to Google it and see, but I've never heard of that. It's kind of the problems with me not having any friends or family. I don't know shit about shit unless it just slaps me in the face. Pumpkin, he should be careful. Yeah. Talking bad about the president of the United States after being released from jail just out of luck. My feed, deport, and deport all of them. Go fight for your cause in your hometown. Bye-bye. Yep, he's pushing it. Ghostly judges just get to rule as kings. I don't know what that is. Sic Semper Tyrannis. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but yeah, Ghostly, that's what it seems like. Winston, or Tandar, often smells like poop and not always his own. I bet you're right, Winston. MU, they always pick the beagles. They do. What's up, Guess Who? Happy Freedom. What's up, Teasel? Happy Freedom to you. Rhonda, well, not so clear, but loud. Yeah. There, he won't be free for long. No, I don't think so. What's up, Patriot Operator? Happy Freedom. I'm not worried about it. They want to come get me for my hand tattoos, they can. Wes, happy freedom to you. Because beagles are so gentle. Yeah, I was going to say that too. It's because they can see how sad they are while they're torturing them. Wayward, he looks like the definition of a free Palestine protest. I mean, we're going to see a lot of this stuff in the summer. These guys aren't going anywhere. All right, hooligans, we're going to get into Lefties Losing It. Let's get this pulled up really quick, and then we got the fun stuff coming up next. I'm not going to get to eat real food today, but that's okay. At least I get to hang out with hooligans. This one's titled, Joy Reid is Hysterically Illiterate.
And it's time for Lefties Losing It, and Donald Trump was giving a speech in Michigan to mark the first 100 days of his second term when a lefty losing it last decided to make a monumental fool of herself. Now, watch here as the president tries to figure out whether this lefty is male or female.
What's the problem over there? What's the problem? Is that a radical left lunatic? He's just a child. All right, get him out. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. I thought it was a guy. Thank you. And she now has to go home to a mother who's a big Trump fan. Her mother's watching. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said he, and it's a she. I'm sorry.
Oh yes, it can be hard to work out whether some of these radical left lunatic non-binary folk are male or female. And talking about LGBTQIA++ community, here is a trans woman, also known as a man identifying as a woman, who fled to the UK, but it hasn't worked out well.
I decided to come to the United Kingdom, which has been a huge mistake, I must say. Not only the April 16th law that passed invalidating trans people's genders, tensions shift very quickly when laws change. And I've found myself not welcome in places I was welcome just on my initial arrival here very quickly. It's been quite terrifying.
Now, sticking to the UK, you may have missed this, but there was a little miracle. The leftist British PM Keir Starmer, who not long ago claimed that some women have penises, well, he somehow, at the tender age of 62, worked out what a woman is. Bless.
Do you believe a trans woman is a woman?
Look, I think the Supreme Court has answered that question.
So you don't believe a trans woman is a woman?
Look, a woman is an adult female, and the court has made that absolutely clear. I actually welcome the judgment because I think it gives real clarity. It allows those that have got to draw up guidance to be really clear about what that guidance should say.
Now, I have missed historically illiterate hysteric Joy-Ann Reid since she was sacked by MSNBC, but thankfully she's still producing content like this where she claims voting for Republicans will lead to civilizational death. And the example she uses couldn't be more wrong.
If you take that away and try to distill us just down to white folks, we'll be like Europe, an aging, slowly dying former empire. The Roman Empire didn't survive because it didn't have enough strength in its diversity. It suppressed its diversity and it died. If the U.S. wants to be the Roman Empire, keep voting the way you're voting, y'all.
You know, Joy's mad fever dreams about Trump and white supremacy seem to impact her entire worldview, but you can't change history, Joy. Well before the fall of the Roman Empire, the emperor granted full Roman citizenship to all free men within the empire, changing the entire scope of citizenship to be far more inclusive. Facts are our friends. Now, let's check in with former First Lady Michelle Obama, who must be among the unhappiest women in America. She is full of self-pity. She's full of disdain for the country that gave her so much and full of fears that are frankly hysterical.
In this current climate for me, it's, what's happening to immigrants. So it's not the fear for myself anymore. I drive around in a 4-car motorcade with a police escort. I'm Michelle Obama. I do still worry about my daughters in the world, even though they are somewhat recognizable. So my fears are for what I know is happening out there in streets all over the city. And now that we have leadership that is sort of indiscriminately determining who belongs and who doesn't.
Indiscriminately? Really, Michelle? You have to be in the country illegally. You have to have broken the law to be in the country illegally to be a candidate for deportation. Kind of an important point, but miserable Michelle wasn't done yet. She really does seem like the unhappiest person in America, even with the 4-car motorcade.
And knowing that there's so much bias and so much racism and so much ignorance that fuels those kind of choices, I worry for people of color all over this country. And I don't know that we will have the advocates to protect everybody. And that frightens me. It keeps me up at night. And I know that I see that when I'm driving around LA, I'm just looking in the faces of folks who could be victim. And I'm wondering, how are you feeling? How do you feel standing on the bus stop? How do you feel comfortable going to work, going to school, when you know that there could be people out here judging you and who could upend your life in a second?
Incredible stuff. Funnily enough, Michelle wasn't too worried when her husband, the man who got the nickname Deporter-in-Chief, she wasn't too worried when he was in the White House and responsible for deporting millions. That didn't keep her up at night. Let's give Michelle a little reminder.
We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country. So that's why we need to start by giving agencies charged with border security new technology, new facilities, and more people to stop, process, and deport illegal immigrants.
That's how Barack used to campaign, and when he was in office, he was deporting millions. He even talked about targeting businesses that gave employment to illegal immigrants. I don't think this kept Michelle up at night either.
We all agree on the need to better secure the border and to punish employers who choose to hire illegal immigrants. We are a generous and welcoming people here in the United States, but those who enter the country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law, and they are showing disregard for those who are following the law.
Joining me now is comedian.
Okay, Lefty's losing it there. It's fine when Obama does it, but not when Trump does it. That is the last little bit of the news I have for you, hooligans. We got the fun stuff coming up next. We're going to be opening today's door, the advent calendar that was sent to us by Hair Juicer. And we got 2 funny videos of the day. First one's titled Smooth Operator. And our official funny video of the day is titled For the Failures. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Lefty's losing it. Russell, I fear these liberal activists are brainwashing the normies. Yeah, and the blue news helps. That's why we watch the goofy propaganda. I know you guys hate it, like, the salmonella thing. I don't like watching it either, but that's the only way we're going to understand why normies start behaving like lefties, is because of that. The fear-mongering, the propaganda, the spinning, the lying, the twisting, the manipulating of what Trump says or what he does or what his cabinet members do. That's the only reason we cover that stuff, is because they're working over the normies. The same thing with President Trump repeating himself, right? He says the same thing over and over again, and a lot of people don't like that. But for the normies, that's the only chance they have of hearing him actually talk about the things that the blue team spins. Blue team will say, oh, President Trump said this. Well, if normies ever get an opportunity to hear President Trump live or capture him on the screen, he's probably going to repeat whatever that phrase is, and that way they get to hear it in context. It really is information war going on here, because the blue team is constantly spinning things, and red team doesn't do shit most of the time. The red news doesn't do anything. They kind of just rebuttal the same things over and over again, but the best chance they have is to hear from the president straight from his mouth, whether it's a pre-recording or live. But that's kind of where we are. Blue team spins everything, and President Trump repeats himself over and over again, and red news is just kind of redundant. They all say the same phrases, and promises made, promises kept, and they just kind of repeat that stuff. They don't ever provide any new news. So it's, I don't know, different ingredients all going into the same dish here. Yeah, Jay Spray, it's rough out here. It is rough. Russell, if you have a dick, you're a dude. I mean, it's that simple. It is that simple. Zero, what does the different color whales mean? It has to do with support. People sending donations through Rumble. Appeal to heaven, yeah. That's what I mean. It looks like they have subs, pizza, etc. at Wesco. Yeah, appeal to heaven. That's what I've been eating all week, is Wesco. But that's all I have access to. Ghostly, remember the Schwan man, the truck, was a whole grocery store at your door. Yeah, Ghostly, I seen the Swan guy before. I've never ordered from the Swan guy, but I heard that their stuff is really expensive, but I don't know firsthand. Ghostly, you know, people think that the one on the right is the real Big Mike, and she stopped dressing up. I think one day that stuff will come out in the open. I think one day Big Mike will come out as a shapeshifter. Free the Texan Swan guy was hella expensive back then. Yeah, I remember being at a buddy's house and he had got the fudge bars or whatever, like the frozen fudge bars, and they had got that. And I remember being like, "That's where you get them. You get them from the Swan guy." And I remember asking my grandma to get it, and she was like, "We can't afford that shit." And I was like, "Damn it." That's all I really know. Snook Schwan is expensive. I looked into it. Yeah. Hey, thanks for being here, Biking Cat. All right, hooligans, we're going to get into the fun stuff. Like I said, we're going to open today's door of the Advent calendar sent to us by Hair Juicer, and we got 2 funny videos of the day. But first, I want to remind you, hooligans, really quick, if you would like to support the live to keep us running, you're welcome to use the links in the description in order to send donations. You can do that by using PayPal, Cash App, Stripe, Zelle, Venmo, Locals, Buy Me a Coffee, or you can even send crypto. Let's see what we get today. I have no idea what door we're on. Yesterday, I think we had to open a couple of them. Or maybe that was the day before. I can't remember now. 16? Yeah, I think we're on day 16. Look at this. It looks like Klaus got it. Well, it is what it is. What did I just do? Oh, we're good. Don't you worry. Anyways, 16, I think it is. Let's see what we get. Come on, thing. Why can't I open this? Today's challenge. Yeah. What is this? What is this? What is this? I don't know what this is. Can I pull it apart? I can't pull it apart. I wonder if this is like a fire starter tool thing. I don't know. It's heavy and it's metal and it doesn't have any defined features here. I believe this is a handle. The only thing I could think of is this is for starting fire, but I don't know for sure. Also, safety pins. I don't know. This is the craziest survival kit I've ever got ever. I don't know, but we're gonna put it in the bag with everything else. Just do the thing. Crazy. This is not a survival kit. This is a MacGyver kit. Either way, thank you so much, Hair Juicer. I appreciate you. All right. Holy. Let's do the thing. Let's get into these funny videos. Both of them were provided by Stoner. Yes, this right here. This is titled Smooth. Heck yeah. That's the only way guys are getting free drinks at the bar, I'll tell you. Anyways, we're going to get into our official funny video of the day. Like I said, this is also provided by Stoner. This right here is titled For the Failures.
You all voted to know your grades before the semester's over. I'm just making it more fun. Please stand up if your last name is Mortensen, McKellen, Wood, Aston, Lee, and Bloom. You shall not pass! Everybody else, you got a C- or higher. Have a great summer.
I love that video. Heck yeah. Well, hooligans, that is all the coffee I had for you guys today. We had a lot of stuff to cover. I'm getting ready to drop this Linktree link in all of the chats we're going to read through, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. Alright, hooligans, there's the Linktree link where all of my links are listed. So if you'd like to make donations, join membership programs, or purchase any merch, would really appreciate it. All of your guys' contributions keep us running every day except for Sunday, because we've got to have a day to recharge those batteries. Definitely go join Discord. Discord is our free hooligan community. It's the best way to be notified every single time we go live. The hooligans are there keeping the conversation going 24/7, and we have 2 news boards to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. So definitely go join Discord. If you're feeling real saucy, go join jeffmaclive.com. Over on the website, it is the best way to experience the live. Our built-in chat has more ability than any other platform. You can post memes and GIFs and custom emojis and links and all kinds of stuff right there while watching the live. You will also have access to Hooligans Alley. You'll have access to the forums. You'll have access to the arcade. And you will also have access to our advanced messaging system with the built-in group chats. So definitely go join the membership program over on Rumble. It's the home of the hooligans. Like I said, we're going to read through and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. Russell, it's brutal. Yeah. Everybody's got to take the class over. Josh Tempted 76, for your information, don't try and spark it in the apartment. I'm not going to, and I'm not even sure what I would have to spark it with. The spork had a knife at the end. I don't know. I'm gonna have to Google some stuff. Oh, Josh 1776. Does the spork have the steel? If it's flint, the back of the spork knife might be used to spark it. That could be. That's got to be what it is, because otherwise they didn't give me a tool, and maybe there's a tool coming up. It's very interesting. I know that. Stoner, that look on her face when she realizes her drink is gone? Yeah. Stoner, scrape it with the knife. If it sparks, it's flint. I will go outside and try that. Hey, thanks for being here, Era16. Thanks for being here, Free Thinker Texan. Thank you, Zero. Rhonda, that's horrible. It would have been me. No. Not necessarily. You got to watch your drink. I thought women did that anyway because they're always worried about toxic masculinity, trying to poison women and stuff like that. I don't know. I see dudes looking out for women in that kind of way all the time. Most times when I go to the bar, dudes are watching for threats, whether it's dudes attacking women or dudes attacking other dudes or women being too drunk and becoming violent. But usually everybody's all eyes on everybody. No, you got to stay safe, especially if you go into those areas. It's been a long time since I've been to the bar. Nothing good happens at the bar. Wayward, spark it with a knife. I will try. Maybe I'll go outside and make a video while there's still daylight. We'll see. Russell, come on, build a campfire in your living room. Yeah, on my last day when I'm ready to move up out of here, we'll just go ahead and do it. I'm gonna tell them I learned it in Portland. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you, MU. Thank you, Too Old to Care. Stoner, it's basically the top piece of a lighter. Yeah, the thing is I don't know what it is if it doesn't spark. If it doesn't make a spark, I don't know what it's for. Guess I never get roofied. That's messed up. I got roofied once. And I woke up in jail. I still don't know what happened. My butt didn't hurt though, so it wasn't that fun. Anyways, It's that time once again, hooligans. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we did the thing. We're going to read through one last time just to make sure no hooligans are left behind, but we are wrapping this up. We'll be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. Hey, thanks for being here, Appeal to Heaven. Thank you, Meta. Thank you, Mirrors. Josh 1776. I don't know about all that. You want some hot meat? Go to the peephole. No. I don't know about all that. Thank you, Too Old to Care. Thank you, Teasel. All right, hooligans. It looks like we're good to go. Like I said, we will be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. What day is tomorrow? Is it Friday or is it Thursday? Tomorrow's Thursday. I feel like there was something else I was supposed to say. I don't know what it is. Either way, I appreciate all of you guys being here, covering all the news we had to cover today. Be safe. Go find yourself some good food. I will do my best to try and do the same. If you leave the house or if you don't leave the house, try and be safe out there. Those lefties, they're out there and they're crazier and wienerless more than ever. And it's getting warm outside, so you can't trust these people. Either way, have a fantastic night. Come back tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. Huge shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership programs, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you hooligans, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.